People keep asking me for a tier list. Therefore, it is tier list time. It's going to take a while, given that there are 39 divisions. If you don't agree, check the link in the description and just go and make your own tier list using these icons here, the setup here. So let's start. I mean, 4th Dutch is clearly the first one on the list. I'm not sure what makes this the way it is. Oh no, I remember now. It's supposed to be in alphabetical order. So first should be first. Let's try refreshing it. Try resetting it. Hello and welcome to this Warno 1v1 competitive tier list. People keep asking me for an up-to-date one, so here it is. We'll start with 4th Dutch. 4th Dutch. So this guy has been playing nothing but 4th Dutch. You may notice that, although somehow he's got 21 packed games since last time I checked, he did 100 Dutch games in a row, and he hasn't lost any of them. 4th Dutch is a very, very good division. We'll get into why. It used to be kind of bad, but then it was saved because of the addition of the Ihawk. 4th Dutch, it's a mixed kind of mechanized tank division. The advantages are that you get 2 cards of reservists, unlike every other tank division in the game. You get reservists. 5e gets reservists, but not 2 cards. And this is really good because it's got smoke. This squad is really good for 35 points, you know, rocket launcher, reservist, whatever. But the thing, yeah, this is 35 points for 7 men. I don't think it should be at all. I think it should be 40. But what this allows you to do is, I think it's like 7 availability. You can spam out these. This is an IFV with a Bushmaster stat clone for a gun, although for some reason they nerfed the stabilizer like massively, so it's very bad on the move. It's 45 points just for the gun, right? It's 2 armor, but it is really good. And because this is so cheap, and because you're not paying for the ATGM, it's only 80 points for 7 men with a good IFV, good gun. Obviously, no ATGM. And so that means that you could buy 3 of these in a minute, because it's 80. And then you just, you pad it out with all the other guys, right? So this is 40 points for 7 men with a Dragon 1. Dragon 1s aren't that good, but still. And then, this plus that's 12, right? And so you can buy, I'm pretty sure you can buy 3 of these a minute as well. The calculator up, 85 times 3, I should already know this. It's 255, I was right, of course. So you can buy 3 of these a minute, you can buy 3 of these a minute, and because there's 12, you can do that for 4 minutes. Out of a 10-minute game, just buying 3 IFVs a minute. It's crazy. You get a lot of momentum from it. Obviously, I wouldn't recommend just buying 12 IFVs at once. And yeah, you just don't run out. You just don't run out. Whoa, look at me, I'm not running out. You get 7 1 AP slots in the Inf tab on a tank division. So yeah, you've got all that going for you. You get TOW 2s, you get sappers, nothing to write home about. But yeah, the reservists and the IFV spam is what this tab's all about. Then in artillery, you get M110s, so you get proper good heavy RT, or you can get the M109s, or you can get towed RT, which is, it fires the same shell, but it's more micro, but it's literally half the price. So you get mortars for smoke. You can bring them in an armored transport. The tank tab. So these deal 21 AP. You might think, well, what's the difference? What does it matter? So the M1A1 deals 20, whereas a Leopard 2 A4 C. So like the German main Leopard only does 20 pen, but then this deals 21 pen. You might think, well, does it matter? Who cares? 21 kinetic pen is enough to one-shot any 3 armor vehicle. So that's most of the IFVs in the game. That's all the warriors. Well, okay, not the warrior replique, but it's the warriors, right? It's the BMP ones, which there's so many BMP ones in this game. It's the French one, right? So 21 pen is very, very important for one shot in 3 armor vehicles. Look, even this is 3 armor. Even this is 3 armor. Lots of 3 armor vehicles. This is 2. Gepards are 3. Lots of things are 3 armor. So it's very, very important price point for these tanks. The fact that, like, you can buy 1 a minute and it one-shots an IFV. The disadvantage is these only have 16 strength, 16 armor, which means that it will get one-shot by 30 AP missiles, which is every single... this div doesn't actually get any. So if I just type in AT, 30 AP, this is a helicopter, right? But 30 AP, 30 AP, 30 AP, 30 AP, 30 AP, 30 AP, 30 AP. There's only 2 in the game that don't have 30 AP. So having 17 armor or more is very, very, very important. The main disadvantage of this div, okay, used to be that, you know, like you only get 2 tanks with 18 armor and the rest all have 16, so you just die to planes. Like all your planes die. Doesn't matter anymore because now you get the iHawk. You didn't used to get the iHawk. That's what's turned this div from being very mid to being one of the best divs in the game. You get the iHawk. You get loads of stingers. You get an upgraded Gepard. Like, what else do you need? But the iHawk turns it around because it just means that your tanks don't get bullied. And they don't get bullied by helicopters either because of the Gepard, which this is an upgraded Gepard. It's better than a regular Gepard. I believe it has 5% more accuracy or something. We should probably check this. Cheetah versus Gepard. Yeah, it's got 5% more accuracy. Speed's the same. So yeah, and then in the recon tab, you get 2 cards of this thing, which is really stupid. This is like a LAV. It's got the LAV's gun, but it's not as fast. But the point is, it's literally 55 points, and you get 2 cards. So you're supposed to be like a late game kind of spam div, late game heavy div, but your opener's cracked because you just buy 8 of these. So that's what that guy who's rank 1 was doing. He was just buying these and just driving them everywhere at the start. And then that bought him enough time to spam into the IFVs, which are really cost efficient, and then, you know, and then spam up into the tanks. As a general rule, right? You also get airborne forward deployed 4-man squads with AT, which is very important, because that means that you can frustrate enemy airborne deployments as well. You know, enemy forward deployed units get frustrated by this. Like, it's only 4 men, but you get 6 of them, and you just toss a few out because they've got the AT. Really effective. If it was up to me, they wouldn't have the AT, and this would only be 1 card. You don't have any helicopters, that is a big disadvantage, but that is why you've got so cheap slots on everything else, because you've not got helicopters, so it's been compensated for by just giving you infinite infantry, infinite tank. And yeah, then you also get a lot of plane spam, so you don't have long range AA, but you just like you spam out these rocket planes and then the clusters, and you know you get a lot of AP, so it's not unreasonable to be bringing all this, also like that. So yeah, it's a really strong div, and so I have it as top of the A tier. Basically, I mean, as I fill this out. If it's on furthest to the left, it's the strongest in that point. I mean, that's what I thought everybody does, but some people say it's not like that. No, if it's up here, you know, it's just basically the highest A tier division. But we'll see how the other ones compare as we get through it. So next is 4th UK. Oh man. So from 0 to 0, we're going to 4th UK. 4th UK isn't very good. It's got a strategy. But basically, its AP slots are really expensive compared to, like, look, you know, you get 4 1-slot ones, and then you get lots of tanks. It doesn't have very good tools. It's a very slow div. The way this div is played is all your stuff is like somewhat cost efficient, apart from this. Did they fix this? No, they didn't. This should be 25 points. But yeah, all your stuff's really cost efficient, so you just spam out Terriers. It's a shame they don't come in the Saracen, like the second UK ones do. I'm not sure why they don't, but it would be cool if they did. And then you spam out gun groups in the FV432 Milan. This is very expensive for what it is. Like, packed stuff generally is just more cost efficient. Compare this to a BWP1. It's not fair, really. But it's a Milan one for 30 points. It's not to be scoffed at. And so you know, you just spam those out. Like, I'd honestly just be bringing it at no vet. Or one vet. I can't remember what I do. I'm pretty sure I bring it at no vet. So there you go. So you've got like 20 spammy infantry and then 18 spammy transports already. And then you back that up with a couple rifles, right? You could get motorized rifles in there if you want. You know, some assault pioneers. This thing is all right for 15 points. Sadly, two L37s only deal slightly more damage than one L37, but whatever. I mean, it shouldn't deal twice as much. That would just be a bit weird, because obviously you lose accuracy when you're doing something like this. So yeah, you get some of those in. The only issue is, like, these are all 3-point slots, so this is where you start getting scuppered, because these are really expensive. Arty, you get a bad version of the one we spoke about in 4th, but you can do that, right? Get lots of mortars for smoke and so on. And then tank tabs, so you get some cost-efficient tanks. Like, these are just not very good, but they are 55 points, and so you feel comfortable, like, driving this into a forest, although it's really, really, really slow. But yeah, you feel comfortable driving this into a forest because it's so cheap, and if it gets hit by 4 laws, so it's going to be fine because it's got 10 armor, and it just goes bang, right? And so, basically, early game, you're spamming out the cheapo stuff like this and this. Sadly, I think these are too expensive, to tell you the truth. And then you slowly swap into more expensive things, like Chieftain Mark 9s. And then eventually, late game, you should be getting out Chieftain Mark 11s. This isn't an optimized tab, right? I'm just explaining it. Recon tab, so you got Foxes, which are good. This Chancellor thing's pretty decent for availability. It's not bad at all. This is useless, don't bring it. Not sure why these snipers are 1 vet when like lots of other team snipers come at max vet. It's very sad, but yeah, motorized scouts, they're really good. Well, okay, they're okay. And yeah, foxes, scimitars, stuff for your blob, right? You got good recon optics in the form of the ferret or the Zibby. Zibby is exceptional optics and it's got smoke, so I prefer it. But you get 1 less, and the ferret is literally 15 points for very good optics. AA tab, so you get the Dark Fire, which is kind of pants, to tell you the truth, for the price. Tractor Rapiers are kind of pants for the price. Javelins are kind of pants for the price. Heli tab, you get some hell arms. And then, yeah, so, like, your fighters aren't great. Your planes are alright, though. Like, this is proper good. As is this, you know. And then, like, this is decent. Like, this is really good loadout. But you might be tempted to use these missiles. Don't bother. You're just going to get your bomber killed. But yeah, you can get a lot of planes out. This should be 3 per card, really. Some of the rocket play, the Dutch one is, but this one isn't. But yeah, generally, very difficult division to play properly. You're basically playing in that you've just got to out-trade your enemy all the time with inferior equipment. So it's very, very difficult to play properly. And there's lots of things which are just, like, suboptimal. So I actually have it as C tier, because it is C tier. Next up, 9th US. Going all over the world today. I apologise if there's any cuts in this video. I'm fasting, so I can't drink water, which means I can't talk for long periods of time. So I'm going to be recording this over the course of several days. But you won't notice, right? Because there'll be expert edits. So 9th US, really strong division. Really strong division. Basically, you've got a lot of options. You get really good cost-effective infantry in these grenade launcher transports, which are very, very good. They're bad against IFVs with autocannons because they don't trade well into them, but you get a lot of them, and you can, they're cheaper and they're faster, and so you can put them in good places, and you get a lot of them, as we spoke about. Grenade launchers, lots of tows and stuff. More grenade launchers, more grenade launchers. You don't run out of infantry. You get Humvee MP, right? Which even 24th doesn't get, but this div does for some reason. And, you get, like, this is the most cost-effective infantry in the game. 2.5 points per man. It's obviously reservist, right? But it is the most cost-effective infantry in the game. Just on a HP basis, 2.5 points per man. Whereas if you compare that to KDA Schutzen, this is 14 points for 45. So, okay, so 45 divided by 14 is 3.2 points per man, which is lower. So Whereas, you know, if this was National Guard M113, right, what was it, 2.5 points per man? So 45 divided by 2.5. You know, this should be 18 strength to be equivalent to that. Obviously, you get fewer men in the card, right? It's not as simple as that, right? They don't have AT capability, but very, very cost-effective cards if you bring it. And then you've got these, which are really good, and recently it went to 2 availability, which was a huge buff. It's got this, which means that if you've got a recon unit near it, it's like laser guided artillery. It's really, really, really accurate, and so that's very useful. You only need 1 card, and then you bring these. It's a coffin launcher, really good for it goes really good for clearing out infantry in entrenched positions, and then you just bring some mortars for smoke. It's got the reservist trait, that's alright, you should be bringing MP patrol anyway, and then you put that Humvee near these mortars, and then you're fine. You've also got this, like, also tank division apparently. You've got cluster MLRS if you really need it for your team games and so on. It's proper good. Then you've got this, which is ridiculous. Sadly, the availability went up. I'm not sure why. So I got 4 HP, but look, this aims in 1 second, unlike every single other ATGM, ground launch ATGM in the game, is 2.2, whereas this is 1. And the missile is super fast, max range, 70% accuracy, 24 pen, and like it's got a good stealth. You just don't see it. You just don't. Yeah, do you know what I mean? So it's a must bring all the time. And then you've also got tanks. And so you're not always restricted to an early game wheeled opener. You can also do a mech opener and surprise people. It's very effective. Yeah, you know, tow 2 Humvees. Recon. So this is just an absolutely broken unit for 35 points. Just very, very silly. Not only does this go 120 kilometers an hour, the fastest speed in the game, and it's got airborne forward deployment, not recon forward deployment as the card would imply. This one-shots 4 HP helicopters. If both of them hit, which they will do, because basically these values are multiplied by 5 when it stands still. I'm pretty sure it one-shots 4 HP transports if they both hit as well, but it definitely one-shots 4 HP helicopters, which is all recon helicopters. For some reason this had its availability increased, I'm not sure why. Now this has got more availability than this one, even though it's got a Cobra autocannon 20mm on it. 55 points. More grenade launchers, 120 kilometers an hour. More TOW 2s, 120 kilometers an hour. And then a drone. Drones are just incredible. So 4th UK in real life has a drone, and in the campaign it has a drone, but in multiplayer it doesn't have the drone. These guys get the drone. AA is, you know, it's not a very strong tab, but these are just broken at the moment. There's a current meta where you just unload towed AA in front of people and shoot them, and some are better than others, and the VADS is in the better than others category. You also get loads of stingers. I wouldn't bother with the T-Chap at all, or the Avenger really. You can bring them if you want. Helicopters, you get, you know, rocket helos as well. Tow Cobras, Hogs, whatever. Then the air tab, so you get Eagles. You get this thing, which is really good. It's an AT, and it's also got an A10 Warthog gun pod on it. So this is the gun from the A10 Warthog. It's not got as many rounds, but it's very effective, and it's got the Mavericks, and they're 60% accuracy. And then you've got this, which is a really good carpet bomber. Sadly, reloads very slowly. Or this, which reloads faster. One of the best seaplanes in the game. You know, you got a lot going for you. This reloads faster, but this is like really good against infantry, and you've got this against tanks. So it is an S tier division, my friends. It is definitely an S tier division. It goes in the S tier because it is an S tier division. If you ever see a guy called what's his name, Greenland annexation fan, he'll tell you that 9th US is weak, even though he's rank 9th with US. Do not believe his lies. So next div, Belgium. This div is not very good. It's basically a worse version of 2nd Panzergren in almost every way. So 2nd Panzergren, oh look at me, I'm spamming Leopard 1s. Oh, I'm spamming Leopard 1s, and I'm also the rest of the division, which we'll get to. That's what Belgium is supposed to be about, except it gets worse Leopard 1s. Well, okay, it's sort of a side grade, really. So this loses an armor, which means that it does die to things which, like does 9 armor survive a Milan too? Or is that 10 armor? Either way, 8 armor's less than 9, and it does get you killed from time to time. And you've got... This is a good tank. It's got 17 AP at max range, but you only get 5 of them, and the rest are all not as good. So, yeah, it's not a very good div at all. Like it's got a forward deployed Luxembourgish component, which is pretty funny, but basically, you're sort of a bad version of the Dutch div, a bad version of Second Panzergren, that sort of thing. So you also get this is that Dutch IFV that we were speaking about. You of course have watched this all in order, and you're not just skipping through to divisions that suit you. So this is the Dutch IFV that we were speaking about, so I'm not going to cover it again, otherwise the video is going to take 10 million years. Got to protect my voice, as we were speaking about. So yeah, you can spam out loads of these, 2-vet, which is good. You do get some forward deployed guys, but they're very expensive for what they are. They should be like 45 or 50 points, and the availability is a lot lower than they should be. And then yeah, then like this is too expensive. It's 40 points for a Milan. You compare that to the FV432 Milan, which was 30 points for a Milan, and even that is not a good one compared to like a BWP1 on Pact. This is overpriced, but yeah, you can bring it. You see, like this is 30 points for a Milan, right? Yeah, you get reservist spam in M113A1s, but these don't have smoke, unlike the Dutch ones, which cost 5 points more, but get smoke, and smoke is incredibly useful, so your reservist spam isn't even that good, although you do get more cards. I wouldn't be bringing 3 cards to that, though. I'm just explaining. No military police vehicle to buff up your reservists. RT is very mid. You get paladins. You get no self-propelled mortar, which is very frustrating. Makes the game very difficult to play with a towed mortar, because you got to smoke, and the enemy's just going to shoot you. Also, for some reason, this has 3,500 meters range, so you just can't bring it. You got to go for this one at 5,600. Well, I can bring these at 17k, but not very effective for smoke. Spoke about the tank tab, so you do get forward deployed TOW 2 Humvees, which is really useful. And you get the Milan 2 Jeep, which is sort of ubiquitous, but yeah, this is decent, a forward deployed TOW 2 Humvee. Although you'll notice 5 availability. Is that the same as the one on 9th? I can't remember. It is. Okay. So that is an advantage, although I'm pretty sure it costs you 5 points more, right? Yeah, it does. The only thing this div has that no other div gets is that you can bring these guys with 6-man special forces team with snipers in this, and it's airborne forward deployed. So you can do airborne forward deployed heli rushes, but it's like, yeah, you do get drones, which is useful. Yeah, you get scimitars, which are all right. You only get 1 card of scimitars, whereas the Dutch get 2 cards of the C and V, which has a better gun on it. Less armor, but a better gun. AA tab, you don't get any Eyehawks, right? Unlike the Dutch. You don't get an upgraded Leopard, unlike the Dutch. You do get 2 cards of Minstrel now, whereas you only used to get 1. This is forward deployed, but doesn't have a thing on the icon, which is kind of weird. But it's really bad. I wouldn't bother with it. If you're going to do some forward deployed thing, cover it with a fighter, which we'll get to. And then you've got the VADs, which you can hit people with, or you can get Gepard, but the VADs and the Gepard have a lot of overlap, and the Minstrel's pretty decent against helicopters anyway, so you don't really need Gepard if you're going to do it this way. Helos, so you get these with TOW 2s with 6 HP, which is not bad actually, because you got 6 HP in a TOW 2. It's pretty useful. I mean, it's very expensive, but sadly you only get 1 card of the good one, and the slot costs are very expensive. AA tab, no long range fighter. You've got this, which only deals 4 HE, so if both these missiles hit on a 10 HP plane, it's not going to die. But if you get your guns on it, you usually get it. And they're only 50% accuracy, although they've got more range than most. Like 4,200 meters range, unlike the Ligmas, which I guess this div doesn't get any of, but this should be 3 per card really, but it's not. This bomber's really good though, 30% ECM bomber. And then like this bomber's really good, and this bomber's really good. So these bombers are good, but there's no seed. The rocket plane is cost effective, but you only get 2 in a card. So basically the way you run it is like a strong momentum game. You open with the forward deployment, and then you back it up with air spam, Leopard 1 spam, and IFV 2-vet IFV spam. It's a shame there's none of these with like an ATGM on it, like because you'll note that there's like so that this has an ATGM but no autocannon, but like why not have the turret in the ATGM? And no doubt some history nerd's going to say, oh, they never did that. Yeah, you know what? World War III didn't happen either. That's weird, isn't it? But yeah, this div, it's not very good. It's not very good, but it's got some things going for it. So I have it as like low B tier. I have it as low B tier. So we're filling out all the slots here. Next for MBAD. MBAD stands for Multinational Bad Airborne Division. I'm not joking. It's written right here. Look. Oh, it's like the only one they did that for. Okay, they just didn't bother. Okay, this div's all right. It's all right. It's all right. Sorry, I'm just checking the location of my Amazon delivery. It's all right. So you can do a funny thing where you put all these in helicopters and you do the 20 helo rush, but I mean it's not really worth it. But yeah, you get a very strong forward deployment because you are a multinational bad airborne division, and you see the multinational component. But some of these are just straight upgrades of others. So like for some reason the MG3 has better stats than the MG42, and seems to benefit more from upvetting for some reason. Alright. That's weird, isn't it? Oh, so that'll be why the stats are different. There's something to do with the veterancy. That's odd. Not noticed that before. Anyway, you do a forward deployment. You get this. So this is airborne forward deployed, and it comes in a forward deployed Milan 1. It's pretty expensive for 40 points. Oh, my Amazon delivery. It's out for delivery. I ordered some chili flakes for my rice. You know, because I'm brown, I eat rice. So, this is useful because it's coming in an airborne forward deployed unit. So you can actually get a few of these out at the start, and it will help you. But you've got better options. Gurkha rifles are very cost efficient now. They used to be 100 points. Sadly, as a 12-man squad, they've only got 480, unlike comparable fire team. Which one is it? Airborne. No. Green Berets. 100 points, 14 men, special forces, and they've got 8 AT4s, whereas these only have 4, which doesn't make much sense because they're a 12-man squad. And there's another 12-man squad in 101st. I need to check this. Aero rifles AT4, 13 men, 6 AT4s, whereas the Gurkhas only have 4, which is a shame, but actually, what was that price? So yeah, the Gurkha rifles are probably overpriced, but you know, the LOR 80 is good even if you've got less ammo. They've both got like, so the LSW seems to be better than, sorry, the SAW seems to be worse than the aim time's less, the accuracy is less. Yeah, so the SAW's got sort of bespoke stats. Basically, all the machine guns used to be standardized, and slowly, they're all changing. So I think the MG3 is different as well, and that's why there was some discrepancies there on what we were discussing before. But yeah, Gurkha rifles are decent. These guys are really interesting. So it's 45 points for a resolute squad with 3 machine guns and 10 strength, but they've got no AT, and one of their weapons is useless. But 3 machine guns, 10 strength, resolute, a really, really effective anti-infantry squad. You can play good momentum game with these guys. Obviously, they're airborne, right? Gurkha Wombat is pretty funny. The Marina Dragon 1. So this, like, I've used it and it's worked. So there are games on my channel where it's worked, but the idea is it's only 25 points. The problem is you got to buy it with the transports, but you can get 12 of them. And so it is sort of like a machine gun team. So I'm pretty sure I bring both. I can't remember. But yeah, you've got Paras down here, which are like a better version of FS Jaeger, because they've got 2 machine guns, although their AT's worse, so I guess it's about the same, but they're cheaper. Also, you get more of them, you get 8 instead of 6, so it's just better. Yeah. And then, so this thing is not that great, but it is pretty funny. It's as we was talking about before with the 9th US Division, this is guided fire. So these Merlin mortar rounds, they actually would home in on tanks and stuff. It's pretty cool. And yeah, so if you've got recon, it's like a sniper rifle, but if they move, it doesn't do anything. And like the individual rounds don't do much, but if they're not paying attention, you can really sniper rifle them with this. So it's good. And then you don't have any heavy arty, right? So you've got 81mm and then 105s. 105s are really not very good. They're really not very good. You don't really have many choices there. Tank tabs, this is where it gets interesting. You can get 24 scimitars and scorpions, 36 if you include the Weasel Mark 20s, and then you back that up with, you know, toes and stuff, and you've got a pretty crazy. So basically, your bite, right? But the way airborne is played is bite and hold. So at the start of the game, you do an airborne attack, and then you hold it. Your bite is really strong, for reasons we'll get into in the recon tab. And then your hold is just trash spam. So it's a really interesting div. No other div plays like this, to be honest. All of the divs play differently, apart from like 79Y, 27Y, 39Y play very similar. But they do have differences, it's just the differences are much more subtle. All the other divs play completely differently from each other, at least from a competitive 1v1 standpoint. Recon tab, so this is the bite. So this is Special Forces max vet, 100 kilometers an hour forward deploy. So the Special Forces makes it go faster. So this is like the fastest vehicle in the game. Okay. It's not 120 like the American ones, but because it's max vet Special Forces, I'm pretty sure it goes at about 120. So that's very powerful. And then you back it up with, skipping ahead here, this, which is forward deployed. It's not Special Forces, right? It won't keep up as much, but it's got 3 javelins on it. So that is really good forward deployment. So that's good. And then, you know, you've got the scimitars, you've got a scout Hellam, which is pretty decent, right? It's got Hellams on it, and it's a recon deployed. 19 AP is really good, but the accuracy is terrible. But the fact of the matter is, the enemy barreling towards you at the start doesn't know if this is going to hit him or not. So, does he take the chance? It is a very slow missile, though. Pathfinders are incredible. Sadly, only 4 availability, and then it goes to 2, which means that you can't really upvet it, even though Special Forces get additional veterancy compared to regular units. But they've got 4 machine guns. And then 9 strength anyway. A machine gun is basically like 2 rifles in terms of damage output. It's a little bit more, but you just see it as 2 rifles. So that's 8 plus 5, which is 13, quick maths. So they fight with the strength of 13 men. It's not bad, right? Proper good unit. And then, you know, you've got Ratatouille and all this, and I don't know if these guys are very good, but... All these guys, but yeah, you know, Parascouts, not too shabby either. Scimitars, you know, what's not to love. AA we spoke about. They've got the Darkfire from 4th UK, so they've got really good AA for a airborne division. They've actually got pretty decent AA, because this thing has... Its range isn't amazing, but its accuracy is really good. Then they've got forward deployed Belgian minstrels with the aviators. So they're really good. And have all the Belgians got... No. Some... balaclavas on there. This thing is a ground Gepard. It's got Gepard stats, but it's it costs the same as a Gepard, even though you got to tow it around everywhere. I just don't think it's very good. Or you could just get the VADs, which is really good against infantry, which is what you want it for. And frankly, that's enough. Heli tabs, you get, you know, you can get better missiles on more HP. I vastly prefer more HP because this can survive a man-pad hit, and this can't. And air tab, so you only get short-range fighters, but they're alright. Your air tab, to be honest, for an airborne division isn't very good. These Buccaneers aren't very good. This seed missile's terrible, and it's only 2 availability. It should really be 3. The LGBT is alright. It's just not standard LGBT. This is good, as you know, from Belgium. This is a pretty decent one. This is alright, but should be a 3 availability. This on the Dutch one is pretty decent for the price. I mean, 165 for some cluster is just really not too bad. This thing, I send it out in pairs, and as soon as it's fired one missile, I evac it, because the range on the missile, the accuracy is not great, but yeah, 3 availability is pretty decent, and you got the seed. The HE one, I just wouldn't bring it. For starters, it's got less ECM, like no good reason. Like, this has more ECM. What the heck? Wow, this plane's massive. Or is it just further back? I'm pretty sure it's just further back. No, it's just a big plane. Cool. So yeah, I built it something like that, I think. Yeah, so M bad, you know, it's actually not bad. It's M good now. Especially with that trash spam. So I have it as A tier. I have it as low A tier. Right, so the next one up is 9th East German, one of the newish Northag divisions. So basically, I think this division's very strong for quite a few reasons. You can bring a bunch of... Where are we here? Losing my momentum. I accidentally deleted my deck, maybe? No. Oh, this is a team one. The Logi tab's not bad. You don't have any like MTLB supply, but whatever, you've got 3 availability stuff, you've got as much supply as you'd want. FOB for team games. You can bring BMP2s, the only resolute BMP2 in the game, right? So that's pretty impressive, right? And you can bring 12 1-vet BMP2s, and they're resolute, so that's the best BMP2. I suppose Reservist could be BMP2. You get grenade launchers, you get BMP1 spam, right? This thing for 30 points is really pretty incredible in terms of cost efficiency. You get as much infantry as you'd need, you can bring grenade launchers. You don't get any conkers here, but you don't really need those. RT tab, you get this thing, which is absolutely incredible. It got a small nerf, which I'm a big fan of, in that the veterancy went down by 1, so it went to 0 vet. But it's still really, really, really good. I had a game where I used this. I didn't... I might go back and record it if I can be bothered. But it was a team game, hence why my deck's got FOB in it. And yeah, then you've got, you know, Acacias. They've got a dumb name now, but they're still Acacias. You've got mortars for smoke. You got everything you need. The tank tab's pretty crazy. These T-72Ss, the Severe is really incredible. It's got 21 pen, 2,800 meters range, and 60% accuracy, and it is fast. So I've seen people bring these at no vet, but you can bring them at 1 vet. But yeah, I see people bringing it at no vet in team games so that they can just spam out Severes. In 1v1, you should probably bring it at 1 vet. Then you've got like more T-72 M1s than 7th gets or something like that. And then you've got this one, which is unique to this division, but it's got 16 armor instead of 17. You might say, well, who cares? Basically, it will get one shot by a 30 AP missile from a plane, which is every plane in the game. I think I've already said that several times this video. Every AT plane in the game, barring 2, is a 30 AP missile, but comes at 5 availability, right? And like, yeah, you could even like max vet these. It's crazy how many tanks you can bring, and the Sturm S is crazy as well. It's got Kokons on it. Kokons are really good now because they're faster and so on. I say now, it changed quite a while ago. So you get loads and loads of really good tanks. You get really good infantry. You get really good artillery. So you get no airborne forward deployment, not a single unit, and you don't also get like wacky special forces stuff like the Poles do and so on. Wacky special forces vehicles that make you go faster. This thing's really good. I've had entire pushes go my way because I hit somebody with 4 PKTs on an MI2 when he thought I was gone, right? So that's really good, and you don't get Resvedka BMP2s, but you know these are, so this is exceptional optics, mediocre stealth, recon for tanks, and it's 6 per card, whereas if you look at comparative ones that NATO get, all the NATO ones are worse. So this is something I realized the other day. So like this isn't the right division. So NATO also gets armored exceptional optics recon in its recon tab. So what am I looking for here? So like the Dutch one, this is only 4 per card, right? It's cheaper, but it's not got as much armor. It's only 4 per card, exceptional optics. And then the Belgians, this one is also 4 per card, exceptional optics. This is even worse than the other one. And then the Germans, where are the Germans? They get the Racist, that's also 4 per card, but for some reason the packed ones are all 6. I don't know why, because they're better. The packed one's better, it's got 3 armor, it's got a Grom on it, which isn't bad. Like the British one, 4 per card as well, so for some reason packed has this advantage where there's a 6. I think all these should be 6, really, because you lose them really fast. But it's neither here nor there. I suppose you can make the BRM 1K4, but I think these should be 6. Anyway, so small aside, this is a good recon tab. It's just it's not got any airborne forward deployment, and but you've got jammers, right? Jammer, helo, whatever, and you can bring BMP ones and so on. AA tab is just your standard AA tab, so you get Iglas, which is good. Some divs don't even get Iglas, right? So all the B budget, I say B tier, more like D tier. East German divs only get Strellas, whereas these guys get Iglas. I still don't like the Shilker. I think its range needs to go up against helicopters, basically. Helos, so the urn is decent, and you get 2 of these in a card, right? And the Phalangers have 20 pen now. This is really good because of the Kokon, so you can get the urns if you want them. And then you get 3 per card ASFs, one of which is better than the other. Just KDA suffering there, I guess. KDA just gets the bad one for the same price. Interesting. This should probably be a bit more expensive because it is really good for its price. And then you get this really good rocket plane, you get this really good cluster plane, you get this really good AT plane, you get 2 cards of that, right? And you get the HE plane, which is good as well. Like they're all good cards. I'm not saying you should bring them all, but this is a really strong div. Pioneer Flam aren't that great right now, but regular Pioneers are good. So I've got it as a solid A tier div. There it is. And it's definitely better than MBAD, which is like it's close to being B tier really, MBAD. But you know, you can put the distinction where you want. Next, 25th Soviet. So this is another strong Northag division. This one also has BMP2s. Well, hey, even more BMP2s. Get loads of them, but its inf tab is very limited. It's supposed to start at Logi, right? So you get Helo supply, which is useful. I don't actually think 9th US gets that. And yeah, you can like bring 3 cards of truck supply if you don't want the helos for team games. Helos is better. You get fob, etc., etc. 3 per card CVs. You get plenty of BMP2s. You get Commandituras, which are just incredible because of the UAZ Commanditura. So you do Shift F and click on the tanks, and then all your tanks, which we'll get to, best part of the div, right? They will all be buffed by the military police aura, which grants a suppression regeneration bonus, which just makes them way better. But yeah, your infantry tab is lacking, but what I've seen people do is bring down vetted BMP2s, right? And then just like 1 card of upvetted sappers or saperi RPOs or like even Pomachiki. This is like new to this div. It's a BMP1 with a Conkers, but it's like, why would you pay 50 for that when you can pay 60 for this? And it's just way, way, way better. Sadly, this is just a terrible interface, but BMP2 is a lot better. RT tab, so that you're spoiled for choice here. Like the Giant S is really good, just makes any divots in better. And then you've got the Mr. S, which so I don't really understand why they've got both, given that the Giant S is actually better in terms of shooting at people, because it's got more range, which means that at the same range, its dispersion will be less. But the Mr. S has, you know, smoke and direct fire capability, which can be useful. But so what I do is I bring them like that, from what I remember. In team games, you can get the grads out, you know, MTLBs, tank tab. So this is where the magic happens. This thing is crazy good. It's got 20 pen. The range isn't good, but for the price, it's really, really good. 16 armor, 10 rate of fire, 20 pen on the gun. So at the start of the game, this thing's really good. And yeah, you always bring it at 1 vet and you get 5 of them at 1 vet, or you can bring it at 2 vet and get 3, but the rate of fire doesn't increase. The aim time goes down, so technically the rate of fire is increasing a little bit. Actually, that's weird. It says that the reload time's going down. Oh, I see. That's once it's fired 37 rounds, it will take 5.4 seconds to reload. But yeah, so overall, the rate of fire will go up a little bit because the aim time's going down, but, you know, it's mainly about the suppression regeneration. Then you've got these, right? So we just spoke about, this is quite important, how you need 17 armor to survive a 30 AP missile. But if you have 16 armor and ERA, you survive a 30 AP missile because now you have 11 HP instead of 10. So these are really good because they all survive 30 AP missiles. So that's why they cost more than these, and that's something that the noobs don't seem to get. They're like, does it matter? 10 points to survive it is very important. Obviously, you lose some availability. But basically, you just bring as many of these as you can, and once you run out of those at one vet, you should always be bringing your tanks at minimum one vet. Although you can put, if you're really good with the Commandatura, you can leave it at no vet and so on, but these slots are just so cheap. This is where the magic happens, you know. You definitely want the CV tanks to be able to survive the 30 AP missile. And then, yeah, and then you can choose between these two. You'll note that, you know, some of these don't have ATGMs, some do. The ATGM's really good. You're basically king of the open field, and you can bring these at like 2 vet, something like that. You don't have any vehicle ATGMs, but that's fine because you get 3 cards of BMP2. Recon tab, you get drones. Drones are just incredible. 50% hidden evasion modifier. Just that's why your missiles never seem to hit them. I know it says 0% ECM down here. They have something better than ECM called evasion, which is I think it's subtractive instead of multiplicative, something like that. It's absolutely crazy. You also get, you know, BRM1Ks. You actually do get Resvedka BMP2, so there you go. That's even more BMP2s. You get the Resvedka tank. So this div is really strong. It really is. It's like you don't have that much infantry, but you don't need that much infantry. There's very few maps where you need loads and loads and loads of infantry, especially since the Great Deforestation. Speaking about primarily about 1v1 here, and then yeah, don't bring the Bruiser. Unless they buff the range on that, it's pointless. Then here, you know, so I'm not sure why you would bring this in this tab when you could just bring some of these guys in these and then get 6 of them. But, you know, whatever. Probably busy bringing Resvedka BMP2. You get loads of helos, right? You get the AA one, which I like. And then between these, like, I'm not sure what makes the order like this, but so between these two, you'd rather have more dumbfire rockets, right? You don't really need 8 Cocons, although I've been in situations where I wish I'd had more. You get loads of helos, and then this is the crazy part, right? You get like, so the MiG-29 is the most cost-efficient fighter in the game. This missile outranges any NATO missile. And this missile is equivalent to the best NATO Sidewinder missile, and it's 220 points, right? And you also get the SC-27, which has the same missiles, 10% more ECM. I mean, these are both really, 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 really incredible fighters. Then you get these, which come at 3 per card. Then you get the Seed if you really want it to cover for your AT. I mean, obviously I've stacked it, right? But that you can do proper air spam on this div, and that sort of also makes up for whatever. I'm just trying to get some points here. What? Obviously you can't bring everything at once, right? I was just showcasing it, but you can, if you want, fully fill this air tab and have a pretty beefy air tab, but you don't really need 8 fighters. You just get rid of that, and then there you go. So now you save a slot. And you still get cubs. So you don't really need that many fighters. Like, you can just bring that. Because you still get cubs. So what do you need so many fighters for? And most of your tanks survive a 30 AP missile. So yeah, this div's really, really, really strong. And I've got it in A tier, but I have it behind 9th. Because 9th they've got they like the T-72s are very cost efficient. They've got more infantry. They've got more artillery. All their stuff's coming at Resolute. Like, all their tanks and stuff are coming at Resolute, which gives you more suppression regeneration, suppression reduction, stuff like that. So yeah, the limits here on the infantry tab is why it's worse than 9th, but it's still extremely strong division. Next, we've got the Polish div, so Polish Donkey Kong. This div, I mean, it's interesting. It's a personal favourite of mine. I like the div. but it's not very strong, to tell you the truth. Basically, you know, so you've got supply if you need it, which is great, and you get forward deployed CVs, or you can get wheeled CVs. Inf tab, so this is where the magic happens. You get some really, really good infantry. So for starters, these Saperzi have satchels and rocket launchers, and that's really good. That is really good. The Topaz 2A isn't great because it doesn't have smoke, but you just get them in the boat. And they're coming at 1 vet, like you can 2 vet them if you want, so they're really good. These aren't that good because flamethrowers got like over nerfed ages ago and they're not very good now. These aren't good, don't bring them. And then like, why would you bring these guys when you can bring the same but with rocket launchers? It's a bit of a no-brainer really, and you'll note that you also get fewer of these than you get of these. You'll note that these aren't airborne forward deployed, but it doesn't matter. You get resolute instead, which is also very important. This infantry is really good. You can bring it in the Topaz 2 AP if you want, but still it doesn't have smoke launchers. And if you compare this Topaz 2 AP to like the BWP 1, which I'll just show you, which is also a Polish unit. Like look, it's just ridiculous. The one on the right's obviously better, right? And they cost the same. Poland suffers, even though they're both Polish units. Polska non-Gurom. These are okay, but you also get like a really good military police squad. So 9 men, and they've got military police and shock and security and airborne and all this. So they're really good to keep with your forces. Sadly, no military police vehicle with them. You get Metis as well, but only 1 card. You get Commandozi, which I don't really see the point of if you can churn out Berettis. And yeah, the issue is that your ATGMs, this thing's pretty funny. So more of a meme unit. It's like 2 SPG9s. It's not got smoke, right? So 40 points for 2 SPG9s. I mean, the issue is you've got no conkers in your inf tab, but you don't really need them because the way ATGMs work now, I say now, it's been quite a while since this change. It's all about the suppression. If you miss, you suppress them. If you hit, you suppress them. Suppress, and then they just rout. And then now, when they rout, this new bug in the last patch came in, where when they rout, they don't reverse anymore, the vehicles. They just turn and drive backward and drive away, showing their rear, at which point you get them. But if you're against a BMP2 div, you're really going to suffer because 18 pen is what you need to one-shot a BMP2, and these are all 17. Arty tab, this thing's really good. So you might think, so it's like a grad, right? But you might be like, well, what's the point? The point is you get 4 in a card, whereas grads are 1 per card. And you see how this aims in 20 seconds and reloads in 40, so that's a volley a minute. This is a volley every 2, almost 3 minutes. So this fires 3 times faster. It also shoots smoke. It's a really good unit. I don't see enough people using this. You can do a smoke Nebelwerfer attack at the start, although the range isn't great. Yeah, the range isn't great. So maybe not. The Pion is overpriced for what it is because this only has a salvo length of 2, whereas the Malkar has a salvo length of 3. And so that means that the fire rate of this is like 33% less than the Malkars, which is a big shame. But the fact is that you're a heavy RE div with Pions. Also, these can maintain a because it reloads and how long the smoke lasts, etc. This can maintain a continuous cloud of smoke. As long as you're shooting it constantly. Obviously, you've got to move it and stuff, but it can reload while moving, which is interesting. These aren't very good. I know they're 12 per card, they're not very good. And then you've got more 17 pen missiles, and that's really where this div suffers, in that it doesn't have... Like, if these were just 18, which I'm not saying should be done, Pactoid enthusiasts, if you're listening to this, then you wouldn't suffer so much against BMP2s, and the meta is all about spamming BMP2s, really, more or less, or comparative IFVs. So they one-shot warriors, but they don't one-shot BMP2s, and you see a lot of BMP2s these days. This is a bit overpriced for what it is. It's got no smoke. It's got mediocre stealth, but the gun fires fast. It's got 16 pen, right? But yeah, I mean it doesn't have smoke, and it's kind of slow, and yeah, it could be do with being 50 points really, and yeah, this tab's pretty tight. You do get coffin launchers, so like in team games, this div is really, really good, because all you do is you just play in the town with your mega, mega, mega infantry, and you bring up the coffin launchers, you've got the pions, you've got these, or you can just use a grad if you can't be bothered. So yeah, this div's really good in team games if you're specializing in a specific area. But in 1v1, you're let down by the fact that you just can't kill enemy BMP2s. These snipers aren't very good because this is actually classed as an SVD, not a sniper. This is airborne forward deployed in a helicopter. The only other div in the game that can do this is Belgium. Although this squad isn't as good as a Belgium squad, it's significantly cheaper, 6 men for 40 points. So you can do a pretty cool helo rush open. I did that in one of the games on my channel. So if we just show you this, and like where is it? It's called Warno has a 5v5 mode. Oh, I should have got this up beforehand. Right, so 5v5. It's this one. Warno has a 5v5 mode. So it'll be linked in the description if I can remember, or you can just Google Warno Hippie. Warno has a 5v5 mode, and it'll come up. And I do at the start an airborne deploy. It's a team game, so I get to play in the forest, and I do an airborne deployment with all the so-calls. My teammates cover me with their planes, and then throughout the game I use So you got to appreciate that this tier list doesn't just come out of nowhere. It's based off the fact that I have like 2,500 hours in this game, right? So this is also why why it takes so long for these tier lists to come out, because I've actually thought about it. So if you appreciate it, I would appreciate you leaving a like on the video, leaving a comment on the video. If you really appreciate it, you can join as a generous channel joiner, get your name on the screen, get the videos early. I'm trying to find the part where I smoke with the Nebelwerfer. So the smoke looks like it's out there, but yeah, so that's annoying. Yeah, there it is. So almost there, guys. Sorry about this. I mean, I suppose you could just skip through it and get to the part that you want to see. So you see that this this will just keep the smoke up. They didn't bother counter batterying me. You see the RuneScape in the bottom right there. And so I've got two just pouring it on them with the shells, and two doing the smoke. And because the smoke cloud is so big, you see he tried to bomb it, but he doesn't know where in the smoke I am, so he missed me, even though I'm a little truck. And it would just keep up a continuous wall of smoke there. I'm waiting for it to fire again. It's a shame. It's taking a long time. Whatever, you can just go watch that video. I mean, it just looks cool. So yeah, it's got that going for it. You get recon these, but I mean, okay. And yeah, you get ground surveillance radar. You do, like, your AT is not good on Poland. So like these guys have 18 AP, which is the highest it's gonna go, basically. Most of these are 14. Some of them are 12. Although the 12 AP is currently bugged and will one-shot 2-armor vehicle, whereas it shouldn't. A 13 AP one won't. It's just some problem in the damage tables. You get this, which is like a SIGINT thing. It's not a jammer, it's just it's got the signals intelligence circle on it. I've got a guide about that as well, but we're losing too much momentum here. You can spam out AA guns. You can do AA spam gun cheese. You can do quite a lot of that, actually. Yeah, you can. Wow. So that is probably more on the lines of how I'd build it, is just spam out the AEA guns. Sadly, you get these Strela 2s with them, which aren't very good, but this for 50 points is actually really good. So I'm pretty sure that's just how I do it. And then that's your anti-infantry vehicle, basically. Although this can't be targeted by ATGMs, and this can, it just doesn't have smoke, etc. Helos, these are a little bit overpriced for what they are, but they are pretty cool. Like 40 rockets that fire pretty fast, but then this has 80 rockets, and it's still 2 per card, and it comes with phalangers. And this has 128 rockets, so it's like, do you really need it? This is the only high AP. Although you got some planes as well, so you get loads of helicopters, which is nice, and the AA ones can be useful at the start. Air tab, so you get MiG-29s, which are obviously the best fighter in the game. You get a shotgun one, just in terms of cost efficiency and so on. So you get plenty of MiG-29s, which you need because your AA is not great against planes. And then you get some rocket planes. This one's really good, and then you get an AT plane, which is really good, a cluster plane, and a seed plane. You need the AT plane, the cluster plane, and then you need the seed plane to protect it, really. So, well, okay, you might not want the seed plane, but you need. This is the only way you can kill tanks, basically. So yeah, you get loads of ATGMs though, like yeah, so you get 14 there, and then you get another 16 in that tab, and 14 plus 16 is 30, quick maths. So you do get 30 ATGMs, and then that's not encountering metis and helicopters and stuff. But yeah, the div is quite weak. You got to do some like backline shenanigans with the ASUs, and you know, it depends where you put in it, but generally the div is really quite weak. So I've actually got it as like low C tier, way below 4th Armoured, even though 4th Armoured isn't good. Now, a bit of better news for our Polish brethren. We've got the Polish 20th Tank Division. So these guys are really good. But in many ways, this is just sort of like a bad version of 9th East German. So you get BMP-2s, but you see how this goes 853, and this doesn't get BMP-2s. So it goes 853, whereas the Soviet one and the East German one go 964. See, so already, and obviously the East German one's only 2 cards, but the other guys have more cards, and so off the bat you get punished in your BMP-2s, which don't have Resolute. So I actually bring these at no vet. But you do get the Saperzi, which we just spoke about, so they're really good. Scott 2A, I mean, I don't really think it's worth it. Like, this is a 50 cal, and this is like a super 50 cal. Although it's only 5 points, and the PKT can be useful, it still doesn't have smoke. So it's up to you whether or not you bring it. I think this is fine as it is. I'm not sure what the difference is between Prime Mover and Oh, so this can just, like, tow Arty around. Okay. Whatever. So you get Saperzi, you know, you get 10 million Pycho to ZMAC. This is like one of the most cost-efficient units in the game, the BWP one. It doesn't have smoke, but it's 25 points. To be honest, the East German one for 30 with Resolute and smoke is better. But yeah, you get loads of BWP1 spam. You get Wusu, so these are fairly decent military police squad. Yeah, don't bother bringing this. And that's pretty cool. The Reese is actually really good. So you can bring the Reese if you want. There's 9 men with the Reese. Obviously, these guys have Komars, right? But you can. So yeah, you can spam out loads and loads and loads and loads of infantry. Right? With these, you might even want to bring them at no vet, although you probably don't need that many. And then yeah, you're good in towns. You're good in the open. You've got BMP-2s. You got 16 of them. The Dana is absolutely incredible. It's wheeled, so it's really fast. You can get it up to the front line, and you know it's got some armor on it. I believe this is just the same as the Giant S, which is also incredible. Yeah, it is. Except the Dana's got less range, so its gunpowder isn't as good, but it's cheaper. It's got more armor. It's faster, and because of the way the slots work, you can bring, because look how cheap the slots are, so you can just upvet them. So you can have 2 upvetted, or if you're in team games, you can have 4, right? But you upvet them and then you put a CV with them, so that the CV constantly keeps them reloading faster because it upvets them by another one. You get 120mm mortars in Scott 2s, which is really good because they're wheeled, so they're fast. They're faster than the Star, and it's got armor so it can survive counter batteries, so that's like the GOAT transport that you want for your mortars. Tank tab, so instead of the T-72S, you get the T-72M2 Wilk, which is the only T-72 in the game with a max range gun, and it can survive a 30 AP missile, as can the T-72M1s. A problem you've got on this div is that so you don't get as many as the East Germans do, and the East Germans get Resolute, and theirs cost the same. So that's very annoying, but yeah, you do get coffin launchers, which the East Germans don't get, the Maryutka vehicles, you know, so yeah, you don't get as many T-72s, but you get, well, yeah, you get fewer T-72s, you get fewer BMP-2s, you don't get the Napalm Grad. You do, however, get these guys, so they don't have airborne forward deployment, but they're special forces, and the transport is special forces, which means it goes faster. And if you max vet it and you still get 4, it goes super duper duper fast. So this is like the second best forward deployed vehicle in the game, behind the Delta Force Humvee, which does the same thing at max vet, although you only get 2 at max vet instead of 4. But it's got airborne forward deployment. You get the PKT times 4. Don't sleep on that. It's proper good. And then, yeah, you get even more infantry. You get plenty of BRM1s if you want them. You get GSRs if you need them. You know, this thing, I guess, good optics, good stealth. PKT vehicle, why not? 25 points. So really good recon tab. Air tab's really good because you get the OP towed AA guns that you just drop in front of people and shoot them with. You can get the same one with Strelas, but basically you're getting this for the gun because the gun's overpowered and you lose 3 availability here and it costs 10 points more, so don't bother with that. You get Cubs, you get Strelas. Sadly, you don't get Iglas. So you know, you can upvet these. It's still not going to be as good as an Igla. It's cheaper. Helo tab, so you get plenty of helos, right? What's more? What's not to like? This thing is overpriced, really, but you get 6 good helos. And then the air tab. So this is proper weird, right? People say these are bad. They're not. For starters, you get 3 times rocket plane. You get 4 times AT plane. This thing is... This one isn't very good, to tell you the truth, but this one's really good against helicopters, right? And look at this. MiG-21 BIS AA2. MiG-21 BIS. So this is the one that... what? That Rugener gets. And then this is the one that Poland gets. Now you might notice that they're the same, except Poland pays 15 points less. And the availability is the same. So for some reason the Polish one's just way cheaper. So, you know, it makes you think. It makes you think. Sorry, I was just checking my Amazon delivery there. So yeah, I think this div is really good. Solid A tier div, definitely better than MNAD, MBAD, haha. And I would actually say it's better than the Soviet one. I'd actually say it's better than the Soviet one. Not much better, but it's definitely not as good as Ninth. Ninth is just a better version of this div. Last but least, we've got the Polish square. Polish square is just bad Polish circle. So this is supposed to be the mech version of the Polish tank div. So it's very, very similar. I don't want to labor this too long, right? So yeah, you're just trying to spam BWP1s, but you only get 2 cards. So the tank div can spam it out more, although I suppose you get 3 here. So you can spam out BWP1s, you get Saperzi, you get Pychotra and Scott 2As, which are alright, I guess. I mean, the SVD guys are actually really good, because it's 10 men for 60 points with an SVD and a machine gun, and DMR's like 2 machine guns, so this is like 4 machine guns, and a machine gun is like 2 rifles, so that's 8 rifles plus 7 rifles, so they fight with the strength of 15 men. So they're really not bad, actually. Yeah, you get Wusu, which helps you in the forest. You get Commandozi, which... Like, this is a different Commandozi to the other Commandozi we've seen. These guys get smoke, but they're only 6 men. But basically, you get this so you can get 6 rocket helos. You don't get a Conkers. These guys are like an AT squad, which, you might need, but you don't really need. Don't worry about it. RT tabs, you don't get Danners, instead you get Toad 155s, which aren't very good, or 152s, which aren't very good, because the range isn't great. They've got direct fire, but who cares? You do get the mortars. You get, so if you play in a team game, you do get 4 of these, and you can get a proper good supply situation going, and you can just spam these out. Okay, so for team games it can work, because you get the most MLRS, I think, in the game. There might be somebody with more. This is really good because it's an RM70 with, so you're getting like a free reload for 20 points. So, okay, it's not free, you got to pay for it. But you're getting 40 garage rockets for 20 points, which is like, yeah, obviously you want that. Tank tab, so instead of T-72s, you get T-55. So this is, the advantage of this div is that it's got the most coffin launchers in the game. So for those of you who don't watch Warno, although I'm not sure why you'd be several hours into a tier list if you don't play or watch Warno, these are really, you know, they go... That's basically the explanation. These aren't very good. They could do with a buff, to tell you the truth. And yeah, these are all right, I guess. So you get loads of T-55s. You do get Konkers and Maryukas and stuff, and these AT guns actually aren't too bad. Although that's quite expensive for what it is. You do get the Honkers, the Honker attack. So you do get the best forward deployed, second best forward deployed car with infantry in it in the game. Obviously, I've missed out MBAD, but that doesn't have infantry in it, the LSV Milan. And I've missed out the American snipers. It's good. You know, this is a recon helo with an autocannon on it for 60 points. What's not to like? You get more sappers here. AA tab is not great, so you don't get Cubs, instead you get Osas. You do get 2 cards of these, which is proper useful in today's meta. The Scott 2 AP can shoot at helicopters and aircraft. I've never seen it kill a aircraft, but whatever. You know, you get these things which aren't too bad. They're not forward deployed or anything. Helo tab. So these are basically all overpriced except maybe the urn. But yeah, you can get helos anyway. And then in the air tab, these are... So the East German ones come at 3 per card. But these come at 2 per card, despite being worse. Like, this one should not cost that much. And this one should come at 3 per card, and they should both come at 3 per card. So that's not great. You do get the AT plane, the cluster plane, the HE plane, but from this, and the reason I did these together is because you've realised, right, that this is just a bad version of the Polish Circle. The only thing it's got over the Polish Circle is that it's got more MLRS, which in a 1v1 doesn't matter, and it's got more coffin launchers, which you don't really need more than 2 of anyway. So it's just a bad version of Polish Circle, right? So it's really not a great div, and I've actually got it as D tier. So there you go. I'll save the best till last. So then we've got the UK divisions, although I'm not sure why 9th was here. I guess... Yeah, because all the Soviet ones should be together and all the Germans ones should be together. But I guess when I added the Northag ones, I didn't put them in, so we've just done all the Northag divs. My bad. Next is First UK. I've been playing a lot of this. I was on a 20-game win streak with First UK. So basically, you just spam warriors all game. So this is a warrior applique. It's like... So I prefer the BMP2, because the BMP2 has the same autocannon. BMP2's got less side armor, so a little bit slower, but it's got a Conkers, which has less pen, but it's got 200 meters more range, which is very important, actually. So I prefer the BMP2. And you'll note that this goes 964. Whereas, in fact, actually, isn't the BMP2 on the same? That's the wrong one. 964. Yeah, okay, whatever. My bad. So yeah, you spam out these warrior appliques. You can get loads of them. But I'm pretty sure I only bring like 2 cards, and then I also bring gun groups and the warrior Milans. So the gun group's terrible. It's overpriced for 30 points. It's got an AT, but it's only 4 men, so it should really be 25. But this should really be 20. But what can you do? The reason it's overpriced is because you can bring it in the warriors, and you can buy. So this is 240 points for 3 of them, and you get 260 points a minute. So you can buy 3 warriors a minute, and you can do that for 4 minutes. And that gives you a lot of momentum. Assault Pioneers aren't bad. I bring them in the FV 432 because this is 15 points, but it's got smoke. It is really slow, but whatever. And I bring rifles in the FV 432. I don't actually bring the Terrier Paras. I don't actually bring this anymore, or this, which costs 5 points more but doesn't get a free rank of veterancy. Terrier Paras, like, because you got to bring stuff at 1 vet and then you only get 4 of them, and it's just really bad. The Belgian Fusiliers are based off this unit, I think, because they've got the same thing going on. And it's very sad. And then in Arty tab, you can bring like 2 of these up vetted, or you can bring 1 down vetted and save yourself some points. You get self-propelled mortars with a lot of rounds, which are pretty good, but as soon as you try and resupply it, it's 1,000 supply, which, you know, this is also really annoying. Like, you don't get 2 cards of this, and you don't get 2 cards of this, so you're forced to bring this. But whatever. And yeah, and then in the tank tab, so the Challenger Mark II has become more cost efficient. I still don't think it's very good. And so I just bring the Challenger Mark III, and then I bring a card of Chieftains, and then a card of the cheapo Chieftains, which you get out at the start. Some people say they like this. Basically, it's got 80 points. Also, I bring 4. There you go. So that's my 3 CV cards. Some people like this because it's 80 points for anti-infantry. It's basically a big thing that shoots at infantry, right? But this is 80 points. And it comes with a warrior, which is better. It's got a missile on it. It's got 4 guys as well. Like, what? This is just pointlessly expensive. It fires too slowly. It aims in 4 seconds. This aims in 2.5. This aims in 1.44. This aims in 2.4. Recon tab, so you've got lots of slots here, but they're all really super duper expensive. So you need this for your recon, for your tanks, but you only get 4 of them, unlike all the packed ones, which get 6. And then you can get scimitars, but they've only got good optics. SS patrol for forward deployment. So this is the thing, right? So I bring the Para Rover Milan, and I think I could have sworn I had some more tanks in here. Maybe I do bring 2 of these. I can't remember. So this is airborne forward deployed, and this is airborne forward deployed. So that's why I don't bring these, because you don't need them. And then, like, this is a sniper with 1 sniper, and like the Americans, which are 2 snipers. Recon healer is very useful. The ferret, I mean, if it had more availability, but like, why is it 5 availability for an MMG? It's got very good optics, which is useful. But this has exceptional optics, and it's got smoke. AA tab, so the rapiers are overpriced. Javelin LML's overpriced. The javelin's overpriced, so this is very weak tab. Lynx Hell Arms, they're alright. Lynx rockets are good. You use all 6 of them at once. And then the air tab's sort of where the magic happens. So you get both cards of tornadoes. This thing is very overpriced. We'll get into why. And then you can bring all that. And I'm trying to figure out what I forgot to bring. I probably have an extra tank somewhere. Yeah, that's probably it. I probably have an extra card of tanks. It's probably these. Or it might be more Chieftain Mark 11s, I don't know. Or it might be 6 more Rover Milans. So, yeah, this, like, look, fix that in your brain for a second, right? Tornado versus SU-27S. So, for the same price, the SU-27S gets better long-range missiles with both more range and more accuracy, better short-range missiles with more suppression, more range, and more accuracy, 2 more short-range missiles, and a better gun with more ammo. So, yeah. Why is the Tornado F3 250 points? I'll tell you why. It's because previous balance man thought this div was OP, and so he made all its stuff expensive. Same with the Striker. So this is 65 points for just garbage. Or you could pay the same price for... You do lose 1 pen, but you get 4 more armor, which is very important, because it means you'll survive a hit from basically any tank gun, you know, at max range, and so you can just keep shooting your thing. And it's got, you know, more accuracy, and it carries 10 more missiles, and it's a little bit slower. But yeah, Striker's overpriced. So that's why I have this as the king of B tier. It is, in my opinion, the best B tier division. Although, you know, maybe MBAD should be B tier. And that's because, so it's got the warrior spam, which is good. You get a lot of early game momentum with the tanks, so you do like early game momentum, tanks into air spam and stuff, but the tornado, but your anti-air situation is just abysmal. This thing is just ridiculous for the price, ridiculously bad for the price. And then you look at like the tracked rapier, it's just really not very good. It's not got any range. Then you look at the javelin LMLs are just pointless now because they don't go in buildings anymore. So it's like, what's the point of you? But you compare the Javelin to an Igla. The Javelins, for some reason, have like really bad anti-helo range for no apparent reason. Yeah, so that's why I have it as the king of B tier, because it's got this really glaring weakness. But it can do some pretty good stuff with the mech stuff and so on. Next, we got second UK. Second UK, very strong division. Too strong, in my opinion. You do get 2 cards of Bedford Supply, incredible. This thing's not bad, but yeah, the Rover CV, Chinooks, whatever. And then, basically, you get fewer warriors, but you still get 2 cards of warriors. Warrior Milans. Never bring the regular warriors. You get 2 cards of those, and then you get, like, Terriers, which are really pointless, because why not just bring HSF, which are 10 men for 30 points. But they are reservist, so that's a bit sad, really. But you get 12 of them in a card. And so you just use them to scout and hold ground. And then you get 2 cards of SAS in the Saxons. So this is airborne forward deployed, and they've got really good stingers. And because the special forces max vet, the stingers have very high accuracy. So this is your AA. So this solves the British bad AA problem. You just use the American one. And so they've got this really strong forward deployment in this tab. And then they also get these Lynx rockets. And they get quite a few of these if you want them. But generally in 1v1 you only need 1 or 2 cards. And they're really good. And yeah. And then in the RT tab, like, this is not good for the price. It should really be like 2 availability or cheaper. It's just really not great. Basically, it's got heavy howitzer reload time, aim time, and rate of fire. But it's got paladin level HE. So it's basically like the worst of both worlds, because it gets penalized for being a heavy howitzer, but the caliber isn't actually that big. It's not 203 or whatever, so it's not actually that good. So I bring 2 of them. You get this, which can be useful. I've seen people use it, but it's difficult to keep it supplied. Then the tank tabs, like you get just so many challenges in this light airborne style scrappy div. You also get 8 tanks at 1 vet, and that's how I would fix it. If it was up to me, I'd remove a card of challengers, and then, you know, they can bring Rover Milans if they want, which they also get, which are pretty good. I mean, it's a very common unit, Milan 2 on a car, but it is good. Recon tab, so air mobile scouts are pretty decent because they've got 4 machine guns, and now they've got AT. And then you get Foxes, you get Gazelles, right? AA tab, so you get this, which is like an upgrade of the first armored one. Basically, there were trials where they put these on a truck like this, but Eugen don't seem to believe that. Basically, the radar was just on a separate truck, on a separate tracked bed. The radar followed behind, just like it does with a Cub, just like it does with most AA pieces with radar. It's a separate tracked bed. But Eugen say, nah, bro, no integrated radar, no tracked rapier, FSB1. Eugen moment. It's worth pointing out at this point that a minstrel, the French minstrel, fires from a tripod like this, right? Except in this game, this can't go in a building, and a minstrel is just treated like a super stinger. Anyway, this isn't very good, but you bring it anyway because you don't have a choice, and then you bring some javelins, so you don't really have a choice. You can bring this if you want. The FI token one-shot a 2 top armor tank, which is every medium tank in the game except the T-72. So it's actually not bad, but the fact that it's only 2 availability is kind of dumb. It should be 3 really, but this div is OP, so that's why they haven't done anything there. You don't need the Gazelle rockets because you've got Lynx rockets, and you know, you can bring regular Hell Arms as well. And then in the air tab, these should be 4 per card. Why is it that the packed ones, which are better than this, come at 4 per card, but this is only 3 per card? I'll tell you why. Previous balance, man. This should be 3 per card. This is 3 per card. This should be 3 per card. This is overpriced because it's got no gun on it. But yeah, I mean, you get the Jaguar cluster, which is good. I mean, they dropped the ECM by 10%, which sort of makes no sense because the British Jaguars had more ECM than the French counterpart, but they dropped it by 10%. But that meant that they dropped the price. It used to be like 20 points more, 10 or 20 points more. And so now you can buy 1 in a tick. So you can just like, oh, there's a heavy tank coming. you get your 260 and you can always buy this. Whereas if it was this one, you might not be able to afford it. And the Jaguar HE2 is good as well. The Jaguar HE1's garbage. I'm not sure why it costs the same when it's just way worse in every way, but there you go. It's even got twice the reload time for worse payload. So yeah, this div, I know all I've done really is just complain about it, but it's so strong, it's so OP, because you just run at them with the SAS, and then you plug the gap with 10 million IFV plus tanks, right? Which in a 1v1, you don't run out of those. And it's like, well, aren't you supposed to be a light div? Where's all this mech stuff coming from? And then if they break through, you've got a couple of Jaguar clusters to hit them up. Yeah, I've routinely played games with that div where it gets like right to the end, and I'm like, oh, I haven't bought a single plane. Apart from fighters, I've still got all my planes. And so yeah, it's very much a an S tier div. It really is, and I've got it above 9th US. It's definitely better than 9th US. Sorry, I'm fasting, so it's like difficult to talk for long periods of time. Anyway, next we got Berlin Command. This div isn't very good. So yeah, I mean it's really not great. So you get like CVs and stuff, I guess, whatever, and you know, sure. And then in the inf tab, basically it's all built around these guys. So they've got these recoilless rifles, which just kept getting nerfed. This squad just kept getting nerfed. And these can shoot at infantry or at vehicles. And it's mainly the anti-infantry capability you bring them for, and they've got 8 rounds. So you get these up to the front, and you just spam out recoilless rifles on them, and then you reload it with... I haven't even spoken about how bad the Wombat is compared to other SPGs yet, but basically it's bad, just trust me, I can't be bothered going through it. And that applies to the other British divs. You know, you get VAB Milan 2, why not? Okay. Berlin rifles are very sort of overpriced for 10 men because they've not got a DMR or whatever, and there's 65 points. The AT is good though. And like this is just a way better squad because they've got, so it's 10 men, and as we spoke about, a sniper or a DMR is 2 machine guns, and a machine gun is 2 rifles. So that's 4 plus 7, which is... No, hang on. That's 8 plus 7, which is 15 strength. Damage, sadly, you only get 1 card. Then you get Grenadier Voltigeurs FR1, which are similar, but they cost the same. They've got a better rocket launcher, but they've got 1 less machine gun, but they've still got a DMR. So they're really good. Really good squad there. And yeah, like Engineers Dragon sort of overpriced. Flash not very good. RAF Berlin, I mean 12 men with a rocket launcher, but it's reservist, but it's 40 points. Yeah, like this div, it's really not incredible. It's really like you get gun groups but without warriors, right? You get MP patrols but no MP Humvee. Wombats are terrible. You do get self-propelled mortars, you do get paladins, right? Or you can bring this toad thing, which is like half the price. The reason I never bring these is because my micro's not very good, so they just tend to die. Whereas this, I can just queue up move orders and it works fine. You get mortars for smoke, no, you get self-propelled mortars. Tanks, so this is overpriced, it should be 30 points. I mean, so this is your auto cannon for 35 points, but it's like it's got 1 armor, right? So this is from... You do get Rover Milans and P4 Milans. You can actually bring quite a lot of these. This thing is massively overpriced for what it is. It's just not very good. Like, you get that or a BMP2 for the same price. BMP2 is just so much better in every way. These aren't so bad, so it's like a fire support tank, because it's got this auto cannon on it with really good accuracy and good range and so on. Well, range is normal, but yeah, so this is like a fire support tank. It's only fire and heat, so it's really not good against tanks. You do get the Humvee Tow 2, which is very useful, you know. And then you get Meeps, which aren't great. And you get the Chieftain Mark 10, which is okay. It's basically just a stack clone of the Chieftain Mark 11 in this game with a funny camo. So you get 6 tanks. I mean, these It's not really a tank, it's just like a good IFV. And yeah, you get the CV if you want, I don't know, whatever. And the Radens, like, they've got smoke, so it can work, but it's just other people are buying real IFVs with real armor and missiles on them, and it should be 30 points really. Recon tab, so the Sonderwagen. I mean, yeah, so the transports don't have special forces, so they don't actually have airborne forward deployment. But they do get recon forward deployment and Hueys. Like, this isn't a bad squad for 65 points. It's actually pretty good, because it's got satchels, AT4s, and MP5s. MP5s is the best SMG in the game. You know, this isn't bad. You get Foxes. It's just, like... So this is called a Gendarme AML-60, but it's not got military police. But it's gendarme means military police, I'm pretty sure. Anyway, this is like a challenge div. Basically, there's one guy who plays this. He's called Swad Jealous Gunter. And all he does is complain all day because of how bad it is. But he still plays it. You can't do the OPAA gun cheese. Have I got onto that yet? Have I mentioned that yet? The OPAA gun cheese? I think I have. But some of them can do it, some of them can't. This is a bad one, so it doesn't work. You get the badge rapier. You know, you don't get long range AA. You can get Gazelle rockets and Lynx Hellarm. Harriers at 3 per card ASF, even though they're terrible. This is basically the only good part of the div is the light rifles, right? And the Nighthawks. And the Nighthawk is pretty invisible, but if the enemy's got a brain, he just buys a fighter and keeps it up 24/7. And as soon as because you can hear it before you can see it, he just flies his fighter right over to where he can hear it and kills it. And if his fighter dies, it doesn't matter. Like, it's not like your AA can defend it. All you've got is, like, short-range AA. This is your longest-range AA. And then, like, these Harriers should be 3 per card, but they're not. And this should be 4 per card, but it's not. And, like, the range isn't great. It's very, very slow. It can't contest the air. This is just not a good div. It's a very weak div for all the reasons I've just described. So I have it as a very low C tier. Between these two, I'd say it's probably better than Donkey Kong. It's just so because, like, they do get good infantry and they get good tanks and they do get the autocannons if you want it. And, you know, like, you could use this against infantry. This is good against infantry, and you get the Nighthawk and stuff. So there are advantages to it. It's just like going from second UK to this is like, whoa. Anyways, now we're on to the American divs, the American non-Northag divs. I really need to sort this out so they're just all in order. Because basically, like, so this is 3, 8, 11, 24, 35, 82, you know, 101. And it's the same down here. The Soviets just number their divs, but really 25th should have been here. But because Northag came out, I just sort of chucked them all in, and I need to reorder them, really. So yeah, you can make your own tier list, right? You don't have to agree with me. You don't have to agree with me. Anyway, 3rd Armoured. 3rd Armoured is a proper good division. People sleep on it a lot. It's really good. Basically, yeah, you know, supply situation's really good. You get tracked supply cheap. You get truck supply good. What's not to like? Helo supply if you're in a team game. Fob supply if you're in a team game. Inf tab. See, yeah, this is the best NATO 10v10 deck. If it wasn't said already, this is the best NATO 10v10 deck. What you do is you just spam Bradleys. So you spam the good one, because it's got 5 armor, which means it'll survive a... It will survive a 19 AP missile. There are no 19 AP missiles. Oh, actually, there might be. What's that AS-11 thing called? Ha! You can survive a CM-170 Magister AT, which is bugged because it's the only plane in the game with an aim time on its missiles. All the other ones don't have that. Look, no aim time, no aim time. Oh, that's Apache. No aim time, 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 no aim time. But this one has an aim time. We'll get onto that, I guess. 3rd Armoured. So, you just spam out infinite Bradleys, right? And you don't run out. Fireteam Dragon's a proper good squad for 40 points because it's got a Dragon too, which is 18 AP, which one-shots warriors. One-shots all 3 armor vehicles. So, I mean, for 40 points, the range isn't great, but you basically just see it like a super rocket launcher. It's not really an ATGM anymore, it's just a super rocket launcher. And so you get infinite Bradleys, you never run out. You start bringing them at Novet. You get MP Patrol M67 with that recoilless rifle we spoke about, which is really good. Sadly, no military police vehicle, which would truly transform this division, because then you could put that with your tanks, but no military police vehicle. Engineers aren't so bad, you know, for towns and stuff. Engineers Dragon, you don't really need them. Yeah, this could do with being 15 points, really, but whatever. You can bring them in the trucks. And yeah, you just spam out Bradleys. You got loads of Bradleys, right? You can even just not bring this and just bring more Bradleys. You can even not bring this. In 10v10, all you do is just stack this whole thing with Bradleys. That's all you do. You don't really need these. Arty tab, so for team games you get 2 of these, but in 1v1 it's alright, I guess. I prefer the double M109, and then self-propelled mortars for smoke, really useful for tank division. And then this is where the magic happens. Basically, in 1v1, you only bring these out near the end. Once you've got your AA net set up, then you start bringing out your tanks. But you literally have infinite tanks, right? And you know, you can build it however you want, whatever. But yeah, it's really good. I've seen people bring this. I mean, it's the same as the British one, and you know, I just don't think it's worth it. We can just bring more Bradleys, although these are very expensive, so maybe this can work here. This is good in the opener. It's got Hellfires, or you can bring this one. But this is like, so basically you use this in the opener and you buy an Eagle, and then you send this out. Sorry, I've become conscious of my THs. Where are our artillery guards? Anyway, very good optics for 15 points. Or, you know, you can get this, which is good. Scout's good. American snipers are amazing because they've got 2 snipers for the same price as everybody else's that get 1. Okay. This is good. This is really good for covering your flanks for 40 points. So in 1v1 I bring this one instead of the Bradley, I think. AA tab, so the Chaparral's alright. The Pivads is really good against infantry, but you got Bradley, so you don't really need it. So yeah, you bring Chaparral Stinger. And then Helo tab, you get loads and loads and loads of Apaches. So basically early game, right, you buy an Eagle, which is the best fighter in the game. Skipping ahead a bit here. Well, I suppose the MiG-31 is probably the best. Well, the MiG-29 is the best fighter in the game. But the Eagle is really good, and this is the good Eagle, which has fire and forget AMRAAMs on it, which still have less range than that packed missile, because Soviet Union apparently was known for having a better air force than NATO. That's what happened, bro. So yeah, you just get your Eagles. You got Wild Weasels if you want to do seed play, but really it's just about the Eagles, and then you just get like 1 bomber if you want it. Or I think I'd build it like that. And you know, you can get more Eagles if you want, whatever. These aren't good at all. They're just really bad. For some reason, this heavy bomber just has a terrible payload, unlike the packed ones. So yeah, you just spam out loads of Apaches, right? So early game, you open Eagle, this thing, and Apache, and you just zone the enemy out. Because unless he buys 2 of his fighter, your Eagle's going to win that fight 9 times out of 10. And obviously air RNG is crazy, right? And so you just zone them with that, and then you just slowly... Like, you can try and play a momentum game, like you can bring some of these guys in cars. Like, you can bring like a card of these in Humvees, just so you've got some infantry that's fast. Or you could just do that just to get your half of the map at the start, and then withdraw and just spend the whole game buying Bradleys and tanks, and then you attack towards the end, and then you win. Like, you just play attrition for the whole game, basically. Grind them down for the whole game, and then do a big push, final push for the zone towards the end. It's a really good div. People sleep on it a lot. It's very, very powerful. So I've got it as A tier. And it's not as good as the Dutch one, but it's definitely better than all these. Next, we've got US 8th Infantry. I don't like this div at all. I think it's very weak. So, it's similar to 3rd. This is why I wanted to put all the nations together, because there's a lot of overlap, and then that saves me some time and makes it so this video isn't 4 hours long or something. So, mech rifles used to have 11 strength and 3 machine guns, and they were good. And now they've got 9 strength, 2 machine guns. One of them can't be fired on the move, and the Dragons got their range nerfed. and they still only have 5 availability. So that's not great. Then you've got Rangers Special Forces, which are kind of bad for the price. Well, okay, I mean, they're only 65 points, but... So as you can see, Made in France Rangers have 1 more strength, come in helicopters, can fire at enemies from more than 500 meters away with their rifles, and get a better rocket launcher. I'm pretty sure they also come at higher veterancy. Let's just do a little bit of skipping ahead here. Yeah, so you get 4 at 2 vet. Actually, I think that's the same for the Rangers. Anyway, these guys aren't that great. Yeah, 4 at 2 vet. They're not that great. And like... So you get 2 of these if you want, but I mean, the idea is you can do like a healer opener, but if you... It's like a good one to keep in your pocket. We'll get onto it when I finish going through all the tabs, right? But yeah, so your infantry is not very cost efficient at all. Like, why is that? 55 points. And then, like, your arty is really good. These are really good. So this is like the British one, except way better, because it's got the same stats on fire rate and stuff, except it's also got a much bigger caliber, so the HE is bigger, and the spread is bigger, and I think the range is bigger. I can't remember. What the hell? What was it called? No, this is actually longer range. So it's got a tighter dispersion circle. Interesting, I didn't know that. But yeah, these are better. They're really good. And then self-propelled mortars. What more do you need? This is terrible, don't bring it. Because it's not the cluster one, it's the HE one. It's just garbage. These were buffed. So I'm pretty happy about that. I did ask them... I don't know if I'm allowed to talk about it. So these come at more availability now. I still think this is overpriced for 135 because you just compare it to the... We're doing a lot of comparisons to the French, but the French are the gold standard in this game, so... So for the same price, you can survive a TOW2 hit, which is important. You lose the autocannon, you lose 2 pen on the gun, you lose 30 kilometers an hour speed. You got a bit more accuracy, 5% more accuracy, and more motion accuracy, which doesn't matter because you're moving at 40 kilometers an hour. So basically, this tank costs too much. It just costs way too much. Yeah, it used to be better, but somebody's messaging me. I'm so popular. They weren't messaging me. It was one of these group chats. So, and like this for 210, I don't know. I mean, at least it comes at 4 availability at 1 vet now, which is nice. So you could like try and play a momentum game, or you can try and play a slow game and pack M1A1s. You get this, right? You get LRS, which are good because they've got airborne forward deployment. 3rd Armoured doesn't get these. You get the Bradleys, you get this thing. AA tab, you do get Eyehawks, which are very useful. This thing is really good against infantry for 60 points, but it can be targeted by the fact that it's only 1 more per card is kind of sad, but it can be targeted by ATGMs, so it's not like a towed one. But yeah, you can do. I think pretty sure that's how I run it. Or I might actually just bring the pivots because it's got more accuracy, so it will actually do way more to infantry. It'll do almost twice as much to infantry because it's got almost twice the accuracy, so more of its shots are going to hit. You know, you can get Cobras and tow Cobras and stuff. This plane is ridiculously overpriced. So you compare this to F-16C. You compare this to the MiG-29. Wrong one. So, for 25 points, you get worse missiles with less range and less accuracy. And you get fewer long-range missiles. You're also slower. Your gun isn't as good. Well, actually, no. The Vulcan's better because it's got more ammo. So you can keep it around for longer with strafe infantry. So for 10% ECM, you get worse long-range missiles, worse short-range missiles because of the suppression, and fewer short-range missiles, and less speed. And you have to pay for that. You have to pay to get a worse plane. So this should be like 220, right? I mean, what? This should just be the same price as the MiG. And the Tornado should be cheaper, but what can you do, eh? So that's very frustrating. You do get the A-10s, which are nice, and you get this Wild Weasel Seed, which is terrible. It's got lots of missiles, but they don't hit anything, and they've got less range than a Cub, so the Cub just shoots you. It suppresses you on miss, and then you evac showing your back, and then it shoots you some more times. So yeah, these aren't great. But you got, well, I don't know. You can get away with not bringing that many. But the advantage of this division is that you can play it in a variety of ways. In that you can try and do a heli assault at the start and lose, supported by the most expensive fighter for what it is in the game. Like this is even worse than the Tornado in terms of cost efficiency. And then like A-10 recon opener with planes and helis or whatever, or you can play slow and just try and stack the heavy tanks, or you can like stack mediums, or you can do a mix. So that's the advantage of the div. But really, it's not that great. People rave about it a lot, and it's just bad. It's definitely better than Belgium, but I'd say it's worse than every one of these divs. Embed's kind of subjective because you got to have good micro to play Embed. But I'd say it's worse than all the divs above it, so that's why it's there. I mean, that's the same for all of the things in the tier list. Next, you've got 11th ACAV, which is sort of like a hybrid between the last two. The issue with 11th ACAV is it's only got 5 slots here, but you do get Marder 1A3 Milans, which are proper good for the price. And yeah, so you don't get much infantry, so you might want to leave it at Nova, but you do get IFVs, unlike 8th. The only IFVs 8th gets are the Bradleys. And like you get these, which are 40 points for 9 men, and they've got Carl Gustav, but they're reservist. You don't really run out of inf on this div, despite what people may say. Dismount troopers, like 6 men for 45 points. I don't know, they've got an AT4. They've got 3 machine guns, but I mean, these are 60. It's rough, dude, but that's not why you play this div. For starters, the German Paladin is now better than all of the Paladins because it's got more range, which means that it's got more range. It's got tighter dispersion at the same thing. You get self-propelled mortars. For some reason, the 107s go further than the 120s. So maybe bring the 107s. It depends what you're trying to do, really. And you just spam M1A1. That's the div. And you also get the Jaguar 2, which is crazy good because it's got 6 armor. So it can basically the enemy, you shoot your ATGM and you've got mediocre stealth. So as soon as you shoot, you go down a level to bad, tank sees you. It turns, it looks at you, and it shoots you. It hits you, it doesn't kill you. Your toe then hits it and stuns it. Then you smoke and leave. And if it misses you, you just keep doing it. You just keep doing it until it hits you. And some of these tanks, they'll shoot you and they won't deal half your damage. So you just keep doing it. So it's very, very powerful. You'll notice that this is like 1/3 the price of this. So, you know, heavy tanks aren't fantastic, but you can make them work. You just play a really slow game and attack in the last 5 minutes and try not to lose any. You do get recon deployed M1A1s, which is very cool. You do get this Bradley, which is better than this one because it's got 5 armor. It's got the same availability. You do get airborne forward deployment. You get the quick fix. You get the Kiowa thing. The quick fix is pretty cool because it's got jammer. It's got 40% ECM. So you use it to scout enemy AA positions at the start and stuff. These are really like very good optics for 20 points. They're reservists, but I mean they shouldn't be fighting anyway. And if they're in like close combat, you can use them in close combat. So this is why you say that they don't run out of infantry, because actually you also get grenade launcher Humvees, which are really useful, and you can get 12 of those. so you don't run out of infantry, right? You can get rid of this, whatever you want. You don't run out of infantry, because even though you don't have much here, you should fill this tab, and don't bother bringing this. You get 4 more cards in your inf tab, which is really your recon tab, which is really nice. You get Eyehawks unlike Third Armored. You get Stingers. This thing, I used to hate it, and then one of them shot down my Tornado, but I think that's more of a comment on the Tornado. Also, it costs 3 of them to shoot down a Tornado, and that's 240 points. So the Tornado's 250, so is it really all that? You get Stingers. Well, I think I already spoke about that. Helos, so you get this, which is TOW2s on a Cobra, which is pretty useful. So you get quite a lot of those, and then you get the rocket ones, you get loads of helicopters if you want. And then you get... So this is better than this, and it costs less. And the reason why is that this has 6 missiles, right, and this has 4. And this you just get in close, and you just hit them with the shotgun, and you just tend to kill them. This has reasonably good range for a secondary missile. You get the LGBTs, you get the seed. This is a good seed, unlike the Wild Weasel. You get, like, this thing is like a blanket bomber, but it's got a 6-minute reload. So I don't like it at all. Or you can bring this, which has Mavericks on it. 60% accuracy Mavericks and 30% ECM. Or you can bring this, which has the same Mavericks, but is slower, so it'll get 2 off on a single target and a single pass. So you can play it like an air spam div, and you fight, like, this isn't good, but you sort of have to bring it. Oh, well, you can get away with not bringing it, really, because you got the Eyehawk. So this div's decent, and yeah, like, between them, I'd say that it's basically like a slightly better version of 8th, because you've got autocannons, and you've got 12 grenade launcher Humvees, and your air spam is better, and yeah, it's just like a slightly better version of 8th. So that's where I put it. It's like slightly better version of 8th. Then we've got 24th. Then we've got 24th US American. So 24th US American is a terrible div. I had a conversation with somebody about this, and he was like, "Nah, it's good, bro." And he says it's good because you can spam out National Guard Bradleys, which aren't bad. Sadly, this not being reflected on the stat card, it basically makes your DPS like literally like a third worse. But it's not reflected on the stat card. Sorry, I've got a very itchy nose, too much of that white powder. And so you can buy 3 of these a minute. But you can't buy 3 of these a minute. But you can buy... Right, let me get this right. So 2 of these is 170, and then 1 of these makes it 260. So you can buy 2 of these and 1 of these a minute, and then that lets you do that for 4 minutes of 3 Bradleys a minute. So that's the idea, that you can spam out 3 Bradleys a minute, and then you just swap into regular Bradleys, and you do the same thing. And you just keep spamming out the Bradleys. You spam out the Bradleys. Bradley. These aren't the good Bradleys. They're still really good, but they're not as good. 3 armor means they can be one-shot by 17 AP. But yeah, you just spam out Bradleys. You don't get a military police vehicle despite having 3 military police. So you can't follow around your National Guard Bradleys with a military police vehicle because it doesn't exist. Why is this only 8 per card at 55 points? It's garbage. Can't even one-shot 3 armor vehicle. The RT... So National Guard is reservist trait is not reflected on the stat card, and it is a huge malice because it reduces your aim time and your reload. It increases your aim time and your reload time. And so you obviously don't bring the bad one. But when noobs see this, people who don't watch the Hippie YouTube channel see this. The unenlightened masses. In fact, actually, I think at this point, I think most people in the community know who I am and watch my videos, which is, I really do appreciate it. Thank you. I really do. I appreciate all the channel joiners as well. Have I said that yet? I'm unemployed. Have I said that yet? I'm unemployed. This is my sole source of income. Anyway, bring the good one. But yeah, they'll just pick the bad one because they're like, oh, I saved 20 points. It's the same. It's not the same. So yeah, you get that, and then you get these, which are just terrible, because not only are they locked at Novet, they're also reservist, so they're just really, really, really bad. And then these, like, the Challenger now goes 5.32, and these still go 4.21, and they are better than Challenger Mark 2s, but Challenger 1 Mark 2s. But not that much better. So yeah, you get tanks, and you don't bring these because they're terrible, and then you get this, which is actually really good. It's better than the Milan 2 one because it's got more range, and even though it's National Guard and everything. And yeah, like you just, I mean, it's just not a good div. You can spam out National Guard scouts in the ACAV or whatever. You can spam out ACAVs, and ACAVs got nerfed after I did that one time. So it's just not a good div. I don't know if the game will be out yet, but I recorded a game where I played against a certain guy who thought 24th was really good, and I just beat him up, and so and then he was like, "Oh yeah, you're right." So you do get Eagles, right? You get Eagles, that's nice. You get this thing, which is very cost-efficient fighter, because it's got the Sparrows and stuff, but this is not a good side missile. It's got low accuracy, lowest range for a side missile, and lowest HE for a side missile. This is obviously not good, and the whole point is the Strike Eagles, right? But the Strike Eagle got nerfed loads. It used to be like 2 per card and whatnot, and now it's got 4-minute reload time. And don't get me wrong, in isolation, this is balanced. It should be that price. It should have that reload time, maybe even higher. But the fact of the matter is, this is your trump card, and the rest of the division's garbage. So it's just not a good div. It's just not a good div. So I've got it in C tier, but it's definitely better than 4th Armoured. It's definitely better than all these divs. So I'd say it's like the king of C tier. Why am I looking there? That's my monitor where my recording is, but this is where you are. So I should look here, but I look at myself. But what can I do? So it's like the king of C tier, but it's just really not a great div. 35th US. Well, we're stacking the good divs today, aren't we, guys? Whoa. This is like 24th US, but worse. So yeah. So you spam out, we spoke about the recoilless rifle when I was talking about Berlin Command. Obviously, some of you will be skipping through, right? But first of all, National Guard M113A1 has a similar DPS to an MMG because of the National Guard trait. I remember working this out a while back. It's got slightly higher DPS than an MMG. It takes 50% more suppression, no smoke, 20 points. It should be 15. And so that's your fire support. These, you sort of forced to vet them, which means that you've, but yeah, you get recoilless rifles, you can spam them out, you actually get quite a lot of recoilless rifles. At least your National Guard stuff can actually go to 1 vet in this div, which is interesting. You do get a military police vehicle. So, like, in 24th, you've got all these National Guard M1 Abrams, and all these National Guard Bradleys, but you don't have a military police vehicle to take the suppression trait away. So it's just garbage. It's just garbage. Garbage. But yeah, this div, in my opinion, is worse. Yeah. So yeah, you spam out National Guard rifles. You've got no IFVs, right? 24th at least does Bradley spam. You don't have that. You don't have that. This, you got to make sure you put that military police vehicle next to it. But it is alright if you do that. And same with this. Get those military police vehicles working. Tank tab. So these, like, it costs the same price as the one in 8th, except now it's reservist. So it's just way worse. And like, these used to have decent availability, then Balance Man got upset. He saw people were having fun. So you spam out these tanks that don't work, basically, but you can spam them out, but you actually can't. Because you run out. You get this, like 24th, you get some CVs and stuff, so you can keep them near the CVs if you want, but it's like ridiculous. Like these need more cards, and they need more availability. This is good because it's got recon and smoke rockets, which means that you can do a pretty funny deployment thing. This should be more than 3 per card. National Guard ACAV, Reservist. Okay. And then like you can National Guard ACAV spam, I guess, but it's just not very good. And the Scouts unit is not very good, although they've got DMR instead of machine guns, so they fight with the strength of... This is like 4 rifles, basically. And so... Like, because this is not 0.15 for 3, this is 0.15 total. This is 0.15 for 1. So like, this is like 4 rifles, and then these are rifles... And so it's like 7 rifles, but it's reservist. And then like AA. So this is really good. This is like the only good part of the div. And for some reason, oh no, this is reservist. So you got to put a military police vehicle with that as well. It is really good. You get the Eyehawks. The Duster thing is good against infantry. It's pretty good against infantry. Yeah, something like that. Or you can just sack the Eyehawks and get National Guard Stingers or whatever. But then you've got some gunships which are reservists. They're not very good. You got to get in autocannon range. Like there's no autocannons in this whole div, so I can't show you. But basically, you just die to a single IFV, just kills you. Then this is 3 per card, which is useful. But then this one's 2 per card. It's a reservist, but this is 3 per card. It's all right. So naturally, you only get 1 of those, and you get 2 of the bad one. Wow. And then in the air tab, these aren't very good. I mean, they've got 6 HP, which means they die in 1 hit to any long-range missile, which this div also doesn't have. Long-range A-to-A missile, like a Sparrow. This is 6, right? So these aren't very good. Should be 4 availability. This is all right. So you can like use these and like seed behind it to LGBT spam people. This is good. This is actually not bad for 3 availability as well. So like between these two, you know, you can deal with tanks and stuff. I've not brought ASFs. I don't know. Like I just don't bring these because they're bad, right? So there you go. It's not a good div. It's not a good div. It's not a good div. There's one guy who plays it professionally, or whatever you want to call it, competitively. He's called Fortitude Fence, and he wins because he's better than everybody else. He doesn't win because it's a good div. It's a D-tier div. Right, so. What? Still in this? 82nd Airborne. 82nd Airborne. It's gone through a lot of changes. Used to be OP. But since the vision changes, airborne divs can get pushed out more easily than ever. And it's like, you know, sorry, I prefer to look at it with a blank slate. That was my div there. See, you know, you get supply, right? You can get away with 2 cards supply on this div. And you get grenade launchers, which are good. Like, you get airborne, which are alright, for 65. Airborne dragon, which are alright. For AE, it should be like 75. So then they're not alright, really. And yeah, so your infantry is good. And then your RT, you've got no 155s. These are terrible. No self-propelled stuff, you know, it's an airborne div. Tanks, so you do get these. The Sheridans came down in price, so you can actually spam them out now. So you get 24 Sheridans. So they're not badly priced anymore. The gun is proper good against infantry. Like, this is an anti-infantry machine. It's not made for armor. This is made for armor. For fighting armor. You get, like, the LAVs are good. You send them in the back line, you shoot stuff. If they send a helicopter, you kill the helicopter. Look, 1,600 meters against helicopters. And we spoke about how those gunships were 1,400 meters before, right? Because they had like this gun, and they was 1,200, and then had some grenade launchers, which were like 1,400. You can spam out grenade launcher vehicles, which is nice. This is not that great because it's not got the ATGM on it. And then like AA tab, so the AB Stinger's nice. The VADS is really good against infantry, and you get 2 cards of them, so you can spam out VADS, and then you can get Stingers, which are like updated Stingers, so they're good. And then you spam out Apaches. You do your best. The ATAS thing is alright, I guess. Spam out your Apaches, you know, whatever. And then the air tab, you do get Eagles, not the 3rd Armoured Eagle, the other Eagle. No, wait, hang on, this is the 3rd Armoured Eagle. So you get the good Eagle, you get LGBT, you get Seed, you know, you get cheaper ASFs if you want those as well, so you can mix and match. You know, you get... That's not the good one. This is good. So you do, like, air spam. So you've got forward deployment, really powerful forward deployment. Right, you can bring the Avenger if you want, but this is forward deployed anyway. Really powerful forward deployment, and then you fill the gap with 10 billion ATGM, right? 10 quadrillion ATGMs from your Sheridans, your Humvee Tow 2s, whatever. You don't need more than 16 of those. Yeah, and then you just ATGM everybody for the rest of the game. So in 1v1 it can work, but you've got no autocannons and given the vision changes, you know, airborne divs aren't that great. And then like your fire support, I mean, you get lots of Sheridans, but they're not good against armor and stuff, right? I'd much rather have a scimitar than this. Like Embad gets 12 scimitars in a card at 35 points, and this is 80. And I mean, like, it will beat a scimitar. It's got the ATGM, right? But I mean, I'd rather have the scimitar. So yeah, I mean, it's not that great. So I've got it like worse than 8th. It's definitely better than Belgium. But yeah, I don't think it's that amazing. Then we've got 101st Airborne. Very controversial division. Some people say it's rubbish, and then they run around with an 80% win rate, saying it's rubbish, with an 80% win rate. And, yeah, so you can do the funny helicopter spam thing, 20 helicopters in 10v10, ho, I found your fob. And then you can spend the rest of the game not having any supply or whatever, but obviously you land them first. Yeah, so your infantry's really good. Like, better than 82nd Airborne's infantry. And, you know, like, Special Forces guys coming in this, like, this is actually a good transport, because it kills people. It's got 20% ECM. These guys are good. You upvet them, because Special Forces benefit more from upvet. Like, you see that goes 12-16 and all that, whereas, this goes 10-15. It's not actually that different, but they benefit more, and it's such an expensive squad. And, you know, this is a really powerful squad, right? So, 1 DMR is 2 machine guns. So that's 4 machine guns. A machine gun is 2 rifles. So that's 8 rifles, 8 plus 11. They fight with the strength of 19 men. They've got 8 rockets on their AT4, unlike something like Gurkha rifles, which, despite being like 12 men, only have 4 rockets. So they're good, and then you get like, you know, like, so these guys are like the 82nd Airborne guys, except they're not 80 points. Like, make it make sense. Make it make sense. So you're forward deployed, okay. That don't impress me much. You know, forward deployment is not worth 15 points. It's worth 5 points. They should cost 70, not 80. So your infantry's better than 82nd Airborne. Yeah. You just don't have the forward deployment, but oh, don't worry, you don't need it. We'll get to that. These guys are 13 men for 80 points. Wow, this costs the same as those airborne dragons back there. So your infantry's better. Your slot costs are about the same. I think it is the same. Your RT, you get 155s instead of 105, so that's way better. You get tanks. You get the Humvee tow anyway, you know. You get 13-man squads. But hey, speaking about the airborne forward deployment, you get the best airborne forward deployment car in the game. Because this is Special Forces, right? You bring 1 at max vet, and then the other guys you bring at 2 vet, and you bring it with the grenade launcher. So this will get anywhere you need it to go faster than any other car transport in the game. Because it's, right, so it's 100 kilometers an hour, but it's Special Forces max vet, so it goes super fast, and it's got airborne forward deployment, unlike the Polish ones, which have recon forward deployment. These guys get some crazy places at the start. Or you can take a small sacrifice, still get there before almost everyone else, except like some M-bad LSV or something, and just leave it down there so you can have 4. And, you know, like 10-man scout squads, 13-man scout squads with GSR. So your infantry's way better than 80 seconds. You still get the VADs, you can bring the VADs. You don't, you know, you get stingers and so on, right? Updated stingers. So yeah, you use the VADs as anti-infantry fire support, right? And then that basically solves the main problem this division has, which is that it lacks direct fire support. Like, it's got no vehicles with like 50 cals on them or anything, which is a problem. And so what I do see people doing is you bring the Aero Stingers with the Mule HB, because this has a 50 cal on it, and then at least you got something. But honestly, the VADs, if you can use the VAD, it's not cheap. You can get a Stinger and a Mule for the same price. But if you can use the VADs properly, then your direct fire support problem is solved, because you can just drive this in and shoot them with that. And then, yeah, you get loads of Apaches, you get the Super Apache with the stingers on it, and so on. You get loads of Apaches, and you get Eagles. So it's basically just good 82nd Airborne. Although, you know, so your forward deployment isn't as good. But, I mean, yeah, it is, because the Delta Force are cracked. And then you struggle for direct fire support, but you don't, because you got 14 VADs. And you get tanks. And you get 155mm howitzers. So it's not a bad div. It's not a bad div. Between these three, or these American ones, I mean, it's definitely, I wouldn't say it's as good as 8th, because 8th just has way more direct fire support, with the medium tanks and so on. It's just basically like a better 82nd Airborne. Well, I mean, I say that, they play completely differently, but it is. Next, we've got, I don't know, I've been thinking about 8th. I really don't like 8th. I think it's a very slow div. And like, yeah, it's definitely better than 8th, bro. Next, we got 5E. Oh, we're starting on the French ones now. This is always fun. 5E's broken. It's been broken for a long time. The only people who say it's not broken are people who play it. It is broken. You basically just got really efficient slot costs on everything. These guys have a DMR and 10 strength for 60 men, so they're absolutely incredible. You get loads of them. You can bring them in a 50 cal transport, which is useful. You get Escort APC in the AMX-10P, so there you go. You've now got IFVs. You can also bring these if you want, because it's 8 men for 50 points with a DMR as well, so they also overperform. It depends how many IFVs you want. You don't need that many because of your tanks. The sappers, like this, for some reason, has 3 armor and an autocannon. For 35 points, you know, just like that Raden back there. You get commandos, which are really good. You can bring them in the helicopter, so you can do a funny helicopter open. Your inf tab's crazy. Like, the slot costs are so cheap. You can bring Grenadier, Voltigeur, Apolas if you want. Like, you can bring Apolas if you want the best shoulder-launched AT. Really good. You get a Reservist LRAC, so you've got spam as well, 35 points for 10 men. This is basically like a good version of the Belgian guys. Well, sort of, because the 3 machine guns pull them down, basically. But they got a machine gun, and they got rocket launchers. So, yeah, really good infantry tab. Really, really good arty tab for, like, no apparent reason. These are all 1-point slots. So you'd bring 2 vetted Alpha 1s and self-propelled mortars for smoke. In team games, you would down vet this, but yeah, that's fine. Like, this is the best. So all the howitzers have this kind of like standardization thing going on, where there's like 2 classes of 155 howitzers or 152 howitzers, and yeah, this is better than the Giant S because it's 155 instead of 152, and then it's got the same reload profile as the Giant S, the Mr. S. So very, very good. Best 155 in the game. I mean, the AS90 is not in yet. Who knows what that's going to be like? It'll probably just be a stat clone of this, even though it's better in real life, simply because France. Uber alles. Tank tab, look at all these 1-point slots. These tanks are crazy. I spoke about this when I spoke about 8th US. These tanks are incredible, and you get so many of them. You never run out. This is garbage. You get the AMX Hot, which has 3 armor, so it does the same thing as the Jaguar 2. In that it can survive a front shot at max range from basically anything, and then it hits you with its Hot 2, and then it smokes and walks off. This is good against infantry. You know, you got these if you want the wheeled thing. Recon tab, you get Dragon Paras, which have airborne forward deployment. They come with a 50 cal. They've not got AT. These things are absolutely cracked. This is an imaginary made-up round. This tank, by the way, I believe it came out in 1995, the Brennus. I think it was 1995, and the round that they're using is a march toward depleted uranium round, depleted uranium isthmus round. Can't remember if this can survive a Milan 2 hit because it's got the ERA and 10 armor, which means it has 11 HP. But it's pretty survive. It can't survive a TOW 2 hit. None of these can survive a TOW 2 hit. And then, yeah, the VBL Milan, this is really good. Good stealth, and it's in the Recon tab, and it's got very good optics. It's got a Milan 2 on it, and these things are just cracked for your opener. 19 pen. 4 armor is actually really important, because it means that the enemy tank generally can't one-shot you. It'll put you down to 1 HP for, like, the vast majority of tanks. The vast majority of ranges. And like a 17 AP missile won't one-shot you, and then you've got 19 pen on your gun. You've got mediocre stealth. Because you're a small vehicle, apparently. Small vehicle, apparently. In the current conflict in Eastern Europe, they were complaining about these things, like bits of shrapnel would just go straight through them, and like 50 cars would go through them, stuff like that. But in this game, they're incredible. And yeah, so really good recon tab. You know, you got the chocolate eclairs and helos if you want that. AA, so Roland 3 is really good. DCA not so good. Minstrels is a super stinger in this game. VABT 2013, really good. Well, okay, I mean, it's alright. It used to be a lot better. The Tarask is generally the one people bring, but the gun is the same. So you might as well bring the Minstrel one. It's just you get a lot more momentum if you buy a 35-point unit. Yeah, like, you know, Roland 2s, and then Helo tab, you get Gazelle Hawk, Gazelle Cannon. Like, this didn't used to be in this div. Why is it in this div? So you get really good Gazelle Cannon. You can put them up to 2 vet, which I know a top player does. Yeah, they're really good because they just like burst down all thin skin stuff. You can send one out at the start. It's only 50 points. Does it get there? Who cares? If it does, it kills everybody. Air tabs, so your planes aren't incredible. Sorry, your ASFs aren't incredible, but they're cost efficient. And then you get Jaguar AT, Jaguar HE. For some reason, this has 3 per card, despite being like one of the best missiles in the game. It's 3 per card, unlike all the other ones, which are 2 per card. And yeah, Jaguar Seed at 3 per card because it's got a bad missile. Well, so does the Buccaneer. So does the Shrike on the Wild Weasel. But yeah, you get this for the guns, and it's got 50% ECM for some reason. This division's absolutely cracked. I hate playing against it. They don't run out of anything. They've got everything they could possibly need except heavy tanks, which you don't need. They've got loads of momentum, and all their stuff's like top-of-the-line stuff. For the price, it's like the best in class for the price. So yeah, I hate them. I hate everything about them. I hate facing them. They're not as good as second UK though. Next we got 11E. 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 Oh man. This div used to be OP. Now it's sort of not. It's got the 82nd Airborne problem basically. So like recon got better. These guys are 60 points for air mobile transport. They're like the commandos except worse. And they don't have shock. But yeah, basically you get these for the Paras Marine because they're 10 men and they come at 5 per card at 3 vet. Sensible. And yeah, so this is 2 machine guns. This is a machine gun, so that's 3 machine guns, which is 6 rifles. So they fight with the strength of 14 men with an Appalachian for 80 points, and they come at 5 per card at 3 vet. So you just spam those out. You don't actually bring this anymore. It's worse. I know it sounds ridiculous, but it is. Because these are the same price, and they've got the DMR, which makes them better. So in a fight between these two, this will win. This is only 4 per card. So, like, what? Like, the Resolute doesn't matter. So you don't bring them. You just bring more Paras Marine. Get 4 cards for some reason. Some inane reason. And then you just spam out ATGMs. Don't bother with the flamethrower. They're not good anymore. You do have self-propelled mortars, which is actually very useful. Airborne deployed self-propelled mortars is actually really useful for smoking at the start and getting in places. Then your tanks are like grossly overpriced. Like, why on earth is this 110 points? Oh man, so this shouldn't be 110 points. It should be like 90. Yeah, it's got mediocre stealth. It's got max range, but it's got 2 armor, and it's only got 8 HP. Bet you didn't notice that. Which means it dies to a lot more things than you'd expect for a 2 armor vehicle. And you only get 2 cards, right? But yeah, so you get the Paramilans. This thing's got mediocre stealth, so you don't bother bringing it, right? It's got more missiles, but who cares? It's slower. It's got worse stealth. It's just, yeah, it's bad. You get fewer of them as well. What? What was he thinking? You get gazelle cannons. You get this thing's proper good actually for like recon and stuff with high ECM and jammer and so on. You get saggy recons. These are good. This is overpriced. 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 Yeah. This isn't the good one. This isn't the good one. The one with 2 guns on it, the Zvillinger, is way better, but this is the single one. But this is actually still really good for the airborne forward deployment. And then this is a free rank of veteran. I say free, you got to pay for it. A rank of veterancy for 5 points. So like, why wouldn't you take that? Same availability, get loads of them. Helo tab, so Gazelle Hot 2, great. Gazelle Cannon, yeah, you get loads of them. Whatever. Puma Pirate's good. And then, so this is decent, but this is probably overpriced. This is like LGBT, which didn't exist. This is another March to War nonsense unit. So they said, right, that they're only adding LGBTs into the game, which had onboard tracking, so not other people tracking. So that means no Harrier LGBT, basically. This never had onboard tracking, but it's in the game. Make it make sense. And the first one was made like 1991, and it wasn't adopted until 1992, and it could never self-designate, and it's in the game. This for 230 is decent, in my opinion. I mean, it's like the British one, except 20 points less, and yeah, it's got 2 less missiles, but I think it's decent for 230. You got the Seed, the other Seed, the 3 per card AT, which you get loads of. The Jaguar cluster's really, really, really good because it's fast and it's like the British one basically. Jaguar HE. So you rely on your air tab to kill tanks. Your airborne fault, like your infantry, is pretty cracked, but then like your fire support assets are not good, and you can't substitute it for a PIVADS like you do in 82nd Air. But I don't know why I keep looking over there. Sorry, I'm looking at my phone. I'm a zoomer. I gotta look at my phone. So yeah, I mean, it's got things going for it, but it's definitely a below average div. So I've got it like down here, and I'd actually say it's probably worse than 4th Armoured. Next, we got 152 easy. Man, this div sucks. Basically, I beat former Balance Man in a video with this div, and then he nerfed it, and it was like, it was already bad. It was just literally just kicked toys out of pram. I watched it happen. It's just depressing. Anyway, you forward deployed with Commandos de l'Air, which are an absolutely cracked squad. They are really, really, really good. The Special Forces, they got a sniper, and the sniper is not a DMR, it's just a sniper. So it's way better. Look, 100 suppression per shot. Whereas the DMR guys, it's 35 per shot. So the sniper's really good. The VIB is really good because it's airborne deployed VAB T20. So this basically protects you from early game helicopters. You are getting there first, unless it's Delta Force coming the other way. And then yeah, you do some like reservist thing with the reservist VAB spam. Like I've tried that, but you don't get any military police vehicle, which is a really big problem. So you can't. So it's like these have really low DPS compared to what you expect because the reservist train, you can't get rid of it. These reservist LRAC don't even come in the reservist VAB. Yeah, like this squad is decent, but you only get 1 card of it. This squad is decent, but you only get 1 card of it. These not, you get these in the regular VABs, and then you spam out ATGMs if you can. And so you get there first with the Commandos de l'Air. You do get 155 artillery, which is nice. So you can like upvet that or whatever. These are overpriced. It's like your fire spot's not great. So we covered like, so this is good. This is really not bad actually. We spoke about this on Berlin Command. It's just overpriced. It costs the same as a BMP2. And you need 2 of these to fight a BMP2, and you probably lose anyway. Because you kill one of you, smoke, and walk off. And he's got like 700 meter range advantage. These are overpriced. They've got mediocre stealth. Like, it's got 14 pen and 1 armor for 70 points. A BMP2 is 60 points. Recon tab. This is overpriced. This is overpriced. This has 6 HP, which is actually really useful. This has recon, which is useful. This should not be 90 points. It's got 4 armor. It just should not be 90 points. This should not be 80. I don't know. This at 50. I don't know. I still think it's overpriced. So they need to do something with it. In real life, it could fire like a mortar and it could shoot smoke rounds, right? Like a mortar, like a Wargamer Red Dragon. Why not? Why not? These guys are proper good actually. You know, they come in the Super Puma and so on. They're good, but you know, sniper team, whatever. The Crowtail's not bad now. The Minstrels are okay. This is the good AA. So this is a Zvillinger. So it fires both. So it's like, so like, this is trash, don't bring it. This is trash, don't bring it. This is actually really good. So you bring that. Only problem is it's got 512 rounds and it shoots 1200 rounds a minute. So it's going to run out of ammo in 30 seconds. Less than 30 seconds, like 20-something seconds. These are good. I think they used to have 6 HP, but they nerfed them to 4, even though it's a bigger version of the helicopter than the regular Alouette. So they're not actually that good, because it's only 40% accuracy. But these are good, because they've got 6 HP, which means they survive a manpad hit, and they've got that, and you know, this also survives a manpad hit, and it's got that. Air tab, these should be 3 per card, really. Like, they're not very good. These aren't very good. This is really good. This is really good. You don't get seed. Your fighters aren't great. This thing is trash, to be honest. I mean, it's got... I spoke about this in one of the other ones. It's got a 2-second aim time, unlike every single other AT plane in the game. It doesn't make any sense. But like, why are these 2 per card? It's just... They used to be 3 at that vet, and they went 3-2. And then I beat somebody, and they got nerfed. And these used to be 80 points, and I beat somebody, and they got nerfed. And this used to come in the reservist VAB, and I beat somebody, and they got nerfed. And these used to be better as well. And it goes on and on. Like, it was a bad div. And then he made it worse. I know I'm not... It was a long time ago, but I'm still mad about it, because we're still feeling the effects. So, yeah, it's terrible. I'd actually say it's the worst division in the game. Spoilers. None of these are worse than this. So if you want to see the game I was referring to, you just go to my channel, go to videos, search, and type in Bully. And it's the first one. So it is real. I'm not making it up. So next we got Second Panzergren. Second Panzergren's a really strong div. It's been strong for a long time. And basically what you do is you just spam out Marder 1A2 Milans. Because, so if you spam out Marder 1A3 Milans, right, that's 90 per card, which means 270 points per 3, which means you can't buy 3 a minute. So you spam out Marder 1A2 Milans, you can buy 3 a minute. It depends who you're against, right? So 4 armor means you will die to a Dragon 2, or a Bastion. 5 armor is better. So it depends if you want the momentum game or to win. I don't know, whatever. You can do it either way. But anyway, this squad is really good because they recently got a DM. For some reason, you get 6 of them. They've got DMR, right? So that's like 3 machine guns. Sorry, yeah, because that's 2 machine guns, that's 1 machine gun. So it's 3 machine guns, which is 6 rifles, which is 10 men. So they fight with the strength of 10 men. And the rocket launcher is really not bad. So I've seen, like, there's a guy who literally just plays this div, but he claims he doesn't. He just brings them in cars. If he wants, like, he doesn't actually bring any other infantry. He literally just in his deck. He just brings them in Unimogs because why would you bother? Like Jaeger, well, it shouldn't even be in the game. They don't do anything. They're useless for 50 points. You just bring these for 35 because they got the DMRs. And if you really want to crack a town, yeah, Card of Pioneers, whatever. So yeah, you just spam out these really good IFVs with their high armor. Missile's decent. The gun isn't that great. But it's still good. FS Jaeger kind of overpriced, but you just get one of those for the Panzerfaust 3 and the forward deployment. You get forward deployment. Zickerung's 45 points for 11 men, just like Sponge, basically not reservist. Not reservist. And yeah, like RT, you get really good RT, so these are 203s. In team games, you can spam 4 Lars if you want. You get self-propelled mortars. You can buy these if you want. If you want to play like a momentum game, you can actually open with one of these. It's 155mm for 140 points because you got to include the price of the transport. Self-propelled mortars. You get better Leopard 1 spam than Belgium, despite also having the rest of your whole division. So you can spam out Leopard 1s. You can spam out Leopard 2s. You get the Jaguar 2, which is incredibly good. It's funny seeing these two next to each other. I mean, like, it just makes you wonder why this is 65. Recon tab, you get 9-man recon, which is really useful. You get forward deployed, airborne forward deployed recon if you want it. This is a sniper team. You get the Racist, so you can put it with your tanks. You get scimitars. You get the Lux, which is alright, but I think the scimitar's better. It's faster, but the gun's worse. You get Eyehawks, you get Gappers, you get the really good AA gun. This is the one that's 152 gets, but without Special Forces. And for some reason it's got twice the ammo, because apparently if you're Special Forces, you bring less ammo. So it can fire for a whole minute instead of 20 seconds. So yeah, you can walk these across the field towards your enemy. Heli tab, you get, it's like a Gazelle Hot 2 basically, but it's got 6 missiles. And air tab, so you get the Tornado, which isn't fantastic, but you also get this, which is like a shotgun fighter. So at the start, basically, you're vulnerable to helicopters because your airborne forward deployment doesn't have airborne forward deployed AA, and you can't really cover them with the Eyehawk. So it used to be that you'd have to buy a Tornado, and then they gave it this thing. So now you don't have to buy a Tornado, you just buy that, and that covers you guys, and you're fine. This is a really good bomber, this is a really good seed. This thing, the reload time, it's a good meme, but the reload time's way too high. This is really good. You get 3 of these per card, so I've seen people like just spam out the Harriers at the start for like a momentum game. It's a really strong div. It doesn't have any downsides. It does everything, and it does everything well. So I've got it S tier behind these 3 divs. Next, we got 5th Panzer. 5th Panzer is like, there's no reason to play it, because if you want to do armoured stuff, you play 4th Dutch, and if you want to do infantry stuff, you play 2nd Panzer, and so there's not really much reason to play it. It doesn't mean it's a bad div, it's actually a really good div. You just do the same thing, except now you spam out Marder 1A2 Milans, because you don't have a choice. You know, you can bring Marder 1A2 regular if you want, and yeah, you just, something like that. It's all very similar, so I'm not going to spend too much time on it. You do get the cluster one, so for team games, like, should probably mention this. So if you want to see a 2nd Panzergren game, on my channel, it's down here somewhere, high-level 2nd Panzergren game. It's this, Axis versus Tiberius, and Axis is playing 2nd Panzergren, which he plays a lot. And that's like a very, very high level game. I got deck review in there and stuff like that. And if you want to see a 5th Panzer game, then you want to watch, where are we? So yeah, I mean, my opinions are built on this wealth of knowledge, basically. So I think I'm right. I mean, obviously people will disagree. They've got their own play styles. Where is it? You know, maybe people would actually be able to find a video. I just can't seem to find it. Yeah, it's this one. NATO has more rocket arty than Pact. You see a guy playing 5th Panzer, and yeah, he gets all of these, and he gets a fob, he gets all sorts of supply, and then he just spams out Marder 1A2s and Leopard 2s, which you can do a lot of. So these can survive a 30 AP missile. These can't, but they're 240 points. And you get a lot of them. You get Leopard 1A5s, you get the Jaguar 2. You know, you get more than enough tanks. In team games, this is really good, because you could just double down on the tank spam, and you can buy 1 of these a minute, which is really good. And then you can like buy 1 of these this minute, and then buy 1 of these the next minute, because you'll have, you know, 20 points left, which puts this over, because you get 260 points a minute. Obviously, you don't want to just be printing tanks until your AA net's set up and so on. Fernspare are really good now, because they've got airborne forward deployed, and they've got laws. They didn't used to have those before. Racists, you know, Jaeger player, Recon Helo, like really good recon tab. AA, you don't get the Eyehawk, but you get rolling 3s, rolling 2s, Gepards, and the Zvillinger thing. So that's all you need. Helos, you get the Bopar. And then in the air tab, like, this is alright. It used to be a lot better. It's okay. And then you get this rocket thing, which is 3 per card, and it's really good because the rockets are like the big rockets, so it fires them really fast. Or at least, it fires them. Then this is 3 per card for an AT plane. And so yeah, the div's really good. Like, I've basically brought everything I needed, and I've still got 15 AP, obviously no Logi tab, right? But, you know, yeah, it's a really good div. It's just, it's sort of overshadowed by other divs which do the same thing, but better. But yeah, it's definitely an A-tier div, and I've got it right here. I think it's better than all the divs beneath it. I think it's worse than all the divs above it, which just happens to be the Dutch one and this one. Next we got TKS. TKS is garbage. There we go. Next div. So basically you've got a very strong airborne forward deployment in the form of FS Jaeger B1, which have a Panzerfaust 3 now, which they didn't used to have. And oh, they actually come in helicopters. So there's a third unit that has airborne forward deploy in a helicopter. Although the Huey is kind of slow. So it's not, you just bring them in a truck, right? And then BGS aren't bad, because this is the BGS with 9 men and a blinder side for 50 points, and this is decent because when it stands still, its optics go up to very good, because it's got security. And then you've got AMX 10RCs, not the good one, but you've got some. And then you've also got Green Berets, and you've also got airborne forward deployed AA in the form of the VLRA 20 from 11 Easy. Sadly, you've only got the bad towed AA guns. You do have Eyehawks, you do have Roland 3s. You don't need both of these, they cover a similar role. So you get Roland 2 for like anti-helo, basically. And yeah, then so basically you do the strongest forward deployment in the game. Then you spam out extremely cost-inefficient Jaeger, or Heimat Jaeger. But there's no... Yeah, I mean, you can spam out the Heimat Jaeger. This is really nice CV. Milan 1, Milan 2. 25 points for a Milan with smoke is actually not bad. Yeah, Pioneer, Carl Gustav, I don't know, I mean, it's just, like, so basically you don't bring the Jaeger Panzerfaust, you bring this Jaeger. And you bring it in this for 25 point ATGM spam. So actually really not bad for Milan. With smoke. Like, I mean, compare that to the one that the 4th UK gets, which is 30 points for the same thing. Like, what? Make it make sense. Anyway. You get it for the DMR. You don't bring these, they're bad. Zickerungs are alright, 11 men for 45 points. And if you want to shoot somebody with ATs or whatever, you get this, or you get air mobiles for the Aplas. Artillery, these aren't bad. And then you get this for self-propelled smoke mortar stuff, which is nice. This is massively overpriced for what it is. 80 points for like a reservist nonsense, doesn't do anything tank. These are 40 now, which is nice. But yeah, this is overpriced as well. I mean, like, what? It's terrible, terrible. M48. So you compare it to T55, right? T55 isn't reservist, it is in fact resolute. The gun shoots faster and so on, and it's got smoke, but it can't survive a Milan 2 here, and it's reservist, and the reservist really, really, really hurts it. And because it's not displayed on the stat card, when people do these comparisons, they're like, oh, it's not so bad, it's not so bad, but then they use it, and they're like, they can't figure out what's going wrong. And then the air tab, so like, these used to be AE, but when 152E got nerfed, these got nerfed. This used to be 2 per card and 4 per card. These are okay, I guess. And so basically, like, you're trying to air spam, but you've not got seed. So basically you do, admittedly, one of the best forward deployments in the game. And then you air spam, and try and get, like, ATGMs up. But against anybody who's competent, they will push you out. Because your air spam's not good. Your fire supply, I don't even bring these. They're just massively overpriced. Your infantry is not as cost efficient as it used to be. Like, Jaeger used to be 11 men. So yeah, I'd say it's a pretty bad div. It's not as bad as 152, but it's a pretty bad div. Next up, 4th Mot. This is a really good div. I was talking to this guy. This game isn't on the channel. Wow. And he... like, he was complaining. He was saying, like, it's not fair. I'm playing 4th Mot Schutzen. It's like swearing at me. It's like, it's a really good div. So this is a really good squad because they've got 3 machine guns. Remember, that's 2 rifles. That's 6 plus 4 is 10. 7 strength, right? Special forces, airborne deployment. Then you get these because they got very high accuracy, or you could get these because there's one more of them. Like, they're actually not a bad squad because they've got the 2 vet and the airborne forward deployment. Motshots and SVD, really good squad because this is 2 machine guns. This is also the best machine gun in the game. For reasons we won't get into, but basically it's because it's the machine guns are categorized by like what they are. So if it's a magazine fed machine gun, it's better, and if it's a 7.62 machine gun, it's better. And this is a magazine fed 7.62 machine gun, which incidentally means that the NATO Bren, the NATO round chambered Bren that the Terriers get, is also the best machine gun in the game. Bren power, yeah. It's justice for Steel Division 2. Anyway, so, you know, 4 machine guns, which is 8 rifles, which means it fights with a strength of 13 men for 55 points. And they've all got Resolute. Everybody's got Resolute. This is incredibly good for 30 points. It's got Smoke, it's got Resolute, it's got a max, 2,600 meter range ATGM. Doesn't one-shot 3 front armor. It doesn't matter because you've got so many of them. And so you can up-vet it as well, and it's just incredibly cost-efficient. These guys are okay. FS Jaeger Metas, they're always good. You get these Zikarungs of 40 men, and they got a rocket launcher and one of the best machine gun in the game. You get these 30mm grenade launcher. You get Conkers if you want it. And yeah, you can get some regular Motshots in, you can get some Pioneers. Arty tab, so this is just an Acacia, so that's good. So for 1v1, you can bring 2 of those up vet or 1 of those down vet and then self-propel mortar for smoke. Tank tab, so this is really good. So you bring in at no vets, all you do is just spam out Bastion ATGM missiles. These are okay. I mean, they're okay. They could do with being a bit better, to be honest, but they're okay. These are okay. They could do with being a bit better, but they're okay. And this is also 2,800 meter range ATGM. You get loads of them. You don't need 2 cards. Recon, you get like absolutely cracked special forces teams in like helicopters if you want them. And they've got smoke. They've got satchels. They're really good. This is good as well. So you bring both of those. Recon Helo. You know, you got this for tanks and so on. And you can bring Reservist could be MP1 if you want to lose, or you can just bring. Well, that's probably enough. AA tab, so just Cub, Strela, Igla. There you go, problem solved. I wouldn't go for this. Just cover it with a fighter at the start if you're going to do something funny, because this is just going to miss anyways. It doesn't matter. Yeah. Then you also can bring loads and loads and loads of helicopters if you want. Like just like loads and loads of helicopters. Kokon's got buffed. Falanga's got buffed. AA tab, so you get the MiG-29, best fighter in the game. You get this thing, which is really good. It's okay. You get Seed. This is decent. Although, like, you know, this has got rockets, but the same price. What? Okay, so this is obviously better. I mean, what? Oh, yeah, I remember. This used to be 4 per card, yeah. This bomber's really good. This HE bomber can one-shot heavy tanks with 3 top armor. Not all the time, but sometimes. Because it drops 3,000 kilos of ordnance on your head. And you know, you've got this if you want it. You got this if you're a fool. But yeah, this is decent. So yeah, it's a proper good div. It does everything well, except no heavy tanks. And like these could do with being a little bit better, but I mean, it does everything proper good. And you know, logi situation's fine. So yeah, it's an S tier div. I'd say it's probably the worst S tier div, but it's still an S tier div. Next, we got 7th Panzer. So 7th Panzer, they did it dirty, man. Basically, there's just no reason to play this while 9th Panzer and 4th Panzer are in the game. Well, this is 4th March. So, I can hear them typing already. But basically, you get the same amount of infantry slots as 9th Panzer, except you don't get BMP2s. You just get BMP1s. You can pay 10 points more for less range, which doesn't matter because ATGMs are all about suppression. And so you want more range, so you can suppress them sooner. So you can spam out BMP1. Like, it's not a bad div by any stretch. It's just 9th is better. Like, all this stuff we've already spoken about in 9th, so there's no point going through it again. RE tab, so that you don't get the napalm thing. right? But you can do some strats, whatever. Tank tab, so you only get the T-72. Well, okay, so you get one card of T-72s which doesn't die to a 30 AP missile, and all the rest do. And don't get me wrong, they're still really good because they've got the most top armor in the game. Like 3's the highest, and you know, T-72s are the only medium with 3 top armor. And yeah, like you can spam out lots of T-72s, but not actually that many. Like, what? You got all these slots left. I guess it brings some CVs. This is not good. Don't bring that. Or you can bring some T-55s for the start, or for the end, or whatever. These are good. This is the one advantage you've got over 9th, is that you have airborne forward deployed. So you've got 4 airborne forward deployed GSR units, which isn't bad. Now you bring that, and then you can bring some of these, bring a recon helo, whatever. AA tab, Cub, Strela, Igla, and you get Toad AA, which you can use to abuse, right? So you can use that to you can use to abuse, right? You can get rid of this, maybe, I don't know, whatever. Helo tab, so you get some helos, but you're sort of forced to bring these, which aren't. Well, to be honest, they've both got 8. They've both got 8 HP now. Like these used to be 10, so they can work. But you only have one card of the good ones, and then this doesn't have good range. You don't get the MiG-31. You do get the good MiG-23 ML, so you can bring those, and then, you know, you can bring the Seed, the AT, the Cluster, the HE. Like your air tab is good, but it's basically just you know, this is good. It is basically just bad 9th, and so it's like, you know, it just makes you think, right? It just makes you think. So I'd put it there. Like, it's not a bad div, but it's just no reason to play it while 9th is in the game. You get BMP2s and all sorts. Just better. It's a shame, really. Berlin Gropers. Well, Berlin Gropers I've been playing a lot recently and losing a lot recently. They're just not a good div. They were doing all right, and then I don't know. I should stop saying this, but you know, Balance Man came along. Oh, better increase the price of that Vakschützen. Used to be 50 points. Now it's 60. Yeah, so like in team games it can work because you just stick to the forests and the towns and stuff. Yeah, Motschützen Metis, which is nice. These aren't very good. You do get KDA Schützen, which are alright. You don't get military police vehicle. But yeah, Vakschützen RPO, they're pretty decent. Reservisten are good. Where are my Reservisten? Aren't they in this div? No, they're not. Okay. Motschützen and Strela are good, actually. Because you bring organic AA with you. Basically, all you do with this div is just SPW-70 spam the whole game. And you know, so you get RT, right? I've seen people bring it where they just MLRS spam for like 40 minutes. If you want to see, like, so it's not as bad as people seem to think it is. Basically, this is the one to watch. Rank 1 thinks this awful div is good, and what happened here was these get blocked by the building. I'm apparently very dark. Got a big tan today. So basically, Belarus Border Service went up against 42 Defense, and then he went up against me, and we always played 76Y, and he always played Berlin Red, and yeah, it's an interesting series. Like, there are things you can do with the div, and after that came out, it got nerfed. I'm so glad his reign of terror has ended. So you spam T-55As, which are like, they could be better, really. You know, this is decent, but like, you know, Maoyukas, whatever. And then like this isn't bad. You don't have any airborne forward deployment, but this isn't too bad. You can bring it in helicopters if you want. Basically, this is the good one, Mott Grenzer, because you can bring it in a grenade launcher Humvee, and it's not expensive. It's only 60 points. And then yeah, you know, you just do your best, basically. And then, you know, Cub, and then you do get these two, which is actually really, really useful. Because these are very powerful. Toad AA guns, just run them at people. And then helicopters, you get 2 of the Rocket 2, which is nice. In the air tab, you get this, which is an overpriced version of the Polish one, which misses all the time. And then you can back it up with these, which has a very nice payload, actually. and like try for like a momentum game. I don't have too many games of this on the channel, but let's have a look. Yeah, this one. This one is 2 days old, so there you go. That's probably the best showcase of that. I've tried to refine the strat a bit since then, but generally it's not great. But it's not as bad as 152 easy, as you'll see in that game. So sorry, I always seem distracted. It's because I am. I'd put it like there. I actually think it's better than Berlin Blue. I think it's better than all these divs, and I think it's worse than all these divs, and that's how the tier list works. So yeah, it's definitely a C tier division. I just can't stop looking at my phone. What the hell is wrong with me? There's something wrong with me. It's definitely not because I made the tier list beforehand, and the image of it is on my phone, and the screen keeps going off. KDA. So KDA is pretty similar to Berlin Gropers, except it's different. So the so you get some nice supply, I guess. Whatever, and you get these guys for 40 points for a CV, which 3 availability is really not bad actually. You do get Reservisten, which is nice. You can spam Reservisten, and yeah, like you spam grenade launchers, and then Zago Tryhards are really nice unit. There's sadly no military police vehicle, which you would like on KDA, I think. You can spam out Reservisten and KDA Schutzen basically is probably enough there already. You get Conkers, right? You get these. Arty tab, so the Smirch is nice. If you're against like a heavily armoured entrenched opponent, you can bring this out and just volley him, and it usually gets some. It is pretty nice. Malka's nice. Mortars for smoke is nice, but you know, it's not self-propelled. Tank tab, so the way you play it basically is you just buy all your T62s. They're actually quite a cost-efficient tank. And you just spam T62s all game. I've got a game which I need to go back and record, which I played against a guy who was ranked 2, and I was playing KDA, and he was playing the same div he always played. And it was a really good game, actually, but it's not on the channel yet, so... yeah, so like this is alright. You know, you got the... like between these two, Conker's one's probably better. Recon tab, so yeah. Yeah, it's terrible. At least you get a recon helo, unlike in Berlin Red, where you don't even get a recon helo. You get 2 cards of this, you get books, you get Osas. This thing's not that great anymore. It got nerfed, so don't bother bringing it. KDA just got nerfed loads and loads and loads of times by evil Bounce Man. And then basically it's supposed to so you don't have any airborne forward deployment, but then so you get there second, and then you try and like switch into air spam, so you do actually get a decent amount of air spam. Like this is a really good seed plane, and like this is the worst fighter out of the 2 that costs the same. But it's 3 per card, right? And then this is actually a really good AT, because this reloads in 1 second, which it shouldn't do. It's fire and forget and reloads in 1 second. None of the other ones in the game do that. It's all 2.5. And, yeah, like rocket plane, that's not too bad. Bomber, this used to be 2 per card, right? So basically you get there second, and then you try and air spam, and you like try and T62 spam, and honestly, like, it's just not good. I would say it's better than TCAS though, because your fire support's better. But yeah, that's where I'd put it. Then we got Rugener. Rugener is played by exactly 1 person on the ladder, and it's the same guy who plays Berlin Command, so you can see why he's in such a terrible mood all the time. No, he's a really nice guy, actually. I'm just taking the mic. So yeah, you can spam out Reservisten, right? You get Pycho as Zmech, but not in the BWP1. But yeah, you want to spam out the SVD squads. We've been through this so many times, I don't want to talk about it over and over again. Marine Pioneers are actually a proper good squad. 65 points for 12 men with 2 machine guns, so they fight with the strength of 14 men. And yeah, like these aren't bad. This isn't that bad. Although it's weird, because this is 2 ZPUs, and it's got 1200 meters range. And this is 1 ZPU, and it's got 1400 meters range. So Yeah, but you know, 30 points for 6 men with 3 machine guns, actually really not bad. So they're decent, and they come with this transport, which is cool. So basically, you can do a proper funny clown car rush with these guys, because like this is your inbuilt AA in the clown car rush for helicopters and whatnot. Obviously, the range isn't great, but yeah, this is the advantage: is that you get this, which is a coffin launcher. So this was the first coffin launcher to be added to the game, and that makes it proper useful in towns like urban front lines. This div's really good because you got the 12-man squads, you got the SVD spam, Reservist spam, these guys, and the coffin launchers. Like then you got T55AM Meridia, which is like the East German one, except it's not got Resolute for the same price. This thing's okay, but you don't need it when you could just spam out this AA gun. This one's terrible, by the way. This one isn't very good either. And yeah, so you do get airborne forward deployment in the form of the KSK, and they do actually come in helicopters. So there you go. There's yet another airborne forward deployment. So this is why I like doing the tier list. I actually hate doing it because the first thing people say is, "Oh, that's in the wrong place." But I like it in that I actually learned quite a few new things over the course of the last few hours or what have you. This is proper funny in that it shoots a 3,000-meter range missile. But it's only got 35% accuracy, so you just take off, or you can leave it landed and it will shoot it, and the enemy won't be able to shoot you back because it's got 3,000 meters range. So yeah, that's proper funny. Earn's not bad. This thing isn't great. And then so yeah, if you want rockets, you bring this in the recon tab, which is pretty decent. Yeah, like T55 spam, base T72, which you're forced to bring because you don't get anything better. The Krug is very funny. It comes at 3 per card for some reason, and basically it can one-shot any plane in the game, but it's only got 30% accuracy, but it's got 6,000 meters range. So you just buy it, and you move it after every shot, and in 10v10s it's total pain in the neck. Any team game, total pain in the neck. But yeah, in 1v1 it's basically casino mode, and you just hope it hits. And basically as Rugener, you want to buy these and then just pray. This thing's really good. Really good anti-infantry, very powerful. And then like most of these other ones are bad. Like the S60 is really bad, and the FLA thing on KDA, the one in the tank tab, is 2 of these, and it's just still bad. So that's bad. This, I don't know. I mean, it can shoot Apaches. You'll notice that like none of the other AA, apart from these two, like this is okay, I guess, because it's got good stealth, but it doesn't do much damage against Apache. It's literally got 10% accuracy, but it's literally the only thing that can actually shoot them. Otherwise, the Apache just stays out of your range and kills you, which is very annoying. And then in the air tab, this card is absolutely cracked. I was arguing with somebody about this. He was like, this isn't good. This is amazing. If you played against somebody, you can use this well. Because it costs 80 points, so you can get 3 of them out in a minute. So at the start, you spam this out, and you know, it reloads pretty fast. It'll die in one hit to a lot of things. But if you've got clear scatter, and then you've got a Krug behind it, so the enemy fighter comes and shoots you, and then you shoot him with the Krug, and you pray. So, but yeah, that's good. This is good. This is good. This is... I can't remember. I think this one's not a dive bomber, and this one is. You have to check. No, this one's not a dive bomber. I think this one's not a dive bomber either, so actually this one's better. But yeah, it's not written anywhere on the card. The only way you know is by watching Hippie YouTube videos. This thing's proper good as well, although it's got a long reload time. So your air tab's good, but you've got no seed. I'm not sure why this costs the same as the other AT one. Oh, because you don't get the other AT one. That's nice, isn't it? Your air tab's good, but you got no seed. And, you know, your recon is sort of okay, but, like, really, I mean, it's not a good div. So, I would say it's slightly better than Donkey Kong. And, obviously, all the D-tier divs. But, yes, C-tier. 6YA. 6YA, really good div. People sleep on this a lot, because they seem to think that BMP-1s are bad, and they're not. So yeah, you get the East German BMP-1 spam. You can also get the BMP-1 diverse, or the BMP-1 with a grenade launcher, but you lose the smoke. Somebody was asking me about this in one of my videos. He said, why do you bring this one and not this one? The grenade launcher is really useful against infantry, but I like having smoke, so I can live. But the grenade launcher is really useful against infantry. So you could do it either way, really, but I really like having the smoke, because I want to live. But yeah, you can bring a lot of them. You can mix and match. Lufstrumjäger Metis for 60 points is incredible. So this is like FS Jäger Metis, except they've not got the airborne forward deployment, and because of that, they're like ridiculously underpriced. It's sort of like the 101st Airborne, 82nd Airborne dynamic. So these guys are really good. You bring them late game, and then you can also bring Lufstrumjäger in the Mi-8 rocket, and then you've got rocket like 4 extra rockets. But yeah, you don't bring these at the start. The mistake everybody makes with this div is they helo rush at the start and all their stuff dies. So you don't do that. You get Kommanditura with the Kommanditura vehicle. You get Vopos with the SPWH, which is crazy. Like, this is 50 points for a KPVT vehicle with security, so it'll have mediocre optics instead. But yeah, this is good for like spam once you get into a town, right? You spam it out, and yeah, like Pulmachiki, they're good. So I think instead of 3 cards from Ostroki, I'll bring some more Pulmachiki. Arty tabs, so you get the giant S, which is really nice. And then I can't remember if these shoot smoke. I'm pretty sure I just bring a mortar for smoke. And the Uragan's not great. Tank tab, then you just spam out these, which survive a 30 AP missile, and this, which survives a 30 AP missile, and these, which don't survive 30 AP missiles, but you bring up 2-vet, and this, which survives a 30 AP missile, and then you can bring these if you want. Don't bring this 30-point thing, it's terrible. It doesn't shoot infantry, it doesn't have an anti-infantry round. It's terrible. So yeah, you just stack up the tanks and so on, and then Recon Spec Scrupper A are crazy. So these guys didn't used to have AT, and now they do, and now, like, they're really difficult to shift because it's 10 men with satchels SVD for the long range. If they get on top of you with, I say men, some of them are women. The Scorpion, if you get on top of them with the Scorpion and stuff, they just melt you. And they're 10 men with special forces. This false flag thing doesn't really matter. Yeah, so that's good. That's good. That's good. That's alright. This is okay. Books are incredible. AA, Toad AA spam is good. Iglas are good. I don't actually bring the Tunguska, I think. I don't bring it. Helo tab, so then you get the Rocket 2, which is really good, because that's got like 192 rockets. The urns can be okay, but I don't bring them. Then you get the MiG-31B, which is an incredibly good fighter. Because it's got super range, and it can evac enemy planes in one missile. If you get a good missile off on them, and you miss them from the other side of the map, it can evac them anyway. Then you bring a card of these, and the reason you bring and then you bring the Rocket 2. The reason you bring the Rocket 2 is because these reload in a gorillion seconds, and these reload in allegedly 16 seconds. Then you bring 2 cards of these. So this can one-shot any tank in the game for 240 points. Now keep in mind that, M1HA Abrams, 310 or whatever. But what you do is you send this out in front of it. Or you send this out in front of it. So the AA shoots this. Because this only has 8 HP. And so a Cub will one-shot it. A Buck will one-shot it. This will one-shot it. Because it does 8 HP on the missile. 8 HE on the missile. So yeah, this is a really competitive div. People are sleeping on it. They're sleeping on it because it's not got autocannons. So yeah, I put it there. I'd actually say it's better than 5th Panzer. Yeah, I would say that. Right, now we've got some Soviet divs. 27Y is a very strong division. Basically, you spam out BMP-3s this time, and they come with a squad which is cheaper. For some reason has 21 AP on the missile, and is cheaper. It's got 1 fewer man. Still though, that's crazy. Anyway, BMP-3 spam. In fact, you only really get 2 cards of those, and then you spam out BMP-2s. Spam out BMP-2 AG, which has a grenade launcher for 5 more points, and is extremely effective, because it keeps the smoke, unlike the other, the BMP-1 trade-off, which I don't think is in this division. You get Commandituras with the vehicle, you get 30mm, you spam out the BMP-2 AG, some BMP-3s behind it, you get Motostrelki Metis and BTR-80s, what's not to like? This has smoke on it. Conquers M, very strong. Yeah, you get more BMP-2s if you want. RT, so this is a laser-guided Acacia. So basically, if you've got recon, the dispersion circle will be like it's laser guided, so the dispersion circle is basically 0. So recon acts as laser designation, but for some reason we can't have LGBTs that can't laser designate for themselves, except when we can when it's France. But yeah, this is good, and now it's 2 per card. It used to be 1 per card, now it's 2 per card. So there you go. It's not as good when the shot's uncorrected because the range is less. And then like these are really good because they've got the giant S stats for 125 points basically. I think the reload rate might be low, but these are really good, and like you can use these as well for smoke and stuff if you want, or you can just bring smoke more. Like you can even just like the points are so cheap. And then in the tank tab, you just spam T80 BVs for days, and this is really good. So it's like the regular one, except it's got more pen, and it's got tandem missile, which means it does +1 damage to guys with ERA, thus making your ERA actually a liability. So that's really good. It's got good stealth. Recon tab. Reservist BMP2. Upfed it. You know, this for your tanks, this for your helos. These guys, they're not airborne forward deployment, they're recon forward deployment, but this transport goes at 100, whereas like this one goes at 90, so you would bring it in this one. And yeah, they're good. They're good. It's a really good div. AA, you don't get books or cubs, but you do get these towed AA gun spam, very nice, and then you get this, which is decent, this which isn't, and then a Tunguska, which is, I don't know, I mean the Tom might work, but you don't need to worry about it. Helo tab, so you get some nice helos, not that many though. You get the MiG-29, right, and then you get this thing, the TAM. Never ever ever bring this, terrible. It's nice and cheap, but like it fires 2 of these at once, but it's so slow and it just dies. And the range on this isn't fantastic, and so just get this one instead. It's got more range, it's got more ECM, it's faster, it's 2 per card, it doesn't have armor, it's better. So yeah, 27Y, really good div, and I think it's there. So remember, everything to the right of it and down of it is worse than it, and I think it's better than all these divs. And I think it's worse than all these divs, and I think that's reasonable. Now we get on to 35Y. 35Y, very strong division. Airborne div, but with IFVs. And you get 3 cards of them. So you can bring them at 2 vet, or you can not, and just bring them at 1 vet, and just spam them out for the whole game. And, you know, so that's 18 IFVs. So yeah, 18 IFVs. They don't have smoke, but they're really good. And then, like, Afghansky, really nice squad, because they've got the RPG and like Spetsnaz, very nice squad. Grenade launchers, very nice. And this BTRD thing, I used to hate on it, but it's grenade launcher with smoke for 30 points, so that's really nice. Then you can get like as many helicopters as you'd want. I'm not sure why I'm paying 20 points for 20% ECM, but okay. Yeah, you know, you just, like, for some reason, these come at 2 vet, 6 availabilities. They're really nice. Although, well, I suppose that's the same as that. Really nice RPGs. Metis spam. You know, rocket, helo spam. You can't fit everything in. There's just so much nice stuff. RE tabs, so you get the half grads, or you could just get, like, Nonas or something. Don't bring the Vasak, it's garbage. But yeah, the half grads still come at 2 per card, so that's nice. Tank tab, so tank tab. You get loads of ATGMs. Another thing you can do is, I forgot to mention that, like, basically the way the guys who spam it play is they buy one of the, like, they get these as well. So you've got this, like, really powerful airborne forward deployment just in cars. And then, like, you've also got forward deployed AA. This thing is incredibly good for forward deployed AA. And then you've also got this for the ground if you want it. And you can bring, like, the Screshits if you want them. And then, yeah, Spetsnaz Gru, really nice squad. Some other squads, you know. AA, we spoke about that. Helos, the cooler is incredible. You only get one of, well, yeah, so this came out in like 2005 or something, whatever. This is really good. You know, you can get the other AA Helo. You don't run out of helicopters. You don't run out of helicopters, because not only are they coming in this tab, they're also coming in this tab, right? You can get the Mi-24 Descent, which is really nice. Although, you know, between these two, I actually probably prefer 32 rockets over the Yak B. I'm not sure why I'm paying 20% for 20% for 20% ECM. And then, like, you know, there's more rockets in this tab. So lots of rocket helos. Then, yeah, you also get MiG-29s, the most cost-efficient fighter in the game. Yeah, the AA one's better than the AA2. You get LGBTs, you get SEED, like really nice SEED missiles on this. You get this rocket thing, which is pretty decent. You get this AT plane, which is pretty decent. More LGBTs, you know, this fighter if you really want it. Really strong div. Really strong div. And I'd say S tier. I'd say it's better than all these divs put together. Because the fact of the matter is, your early game punch is so strong, and then you just back it up with 10 quadrillion ATGMs, helicopters, plane spam. So even though you don't have... No, you do have IFVs. You get BMD-2s, which are forward deployed. So you're... yeah. Really strong div. Next, we got 39Y. So 39Y is a really good div, but it's not as good as 27Y. I just clicked on 27Y. So it's like 27Y, but worse. So you do get Commanditura in the vehicle, and you do get BMP2 spam, but it's not the good BMP2, and you don't get the BMP3. You used to. But you can spam out lots of BMP2. Can spam out significantly less BMP2 than I remember you being able to. So you can only spam out 2 cards of BMP2. Okay, well, that's sad. Yeah, and then, like, I mean, we've spoken about all these arty choices. So you just get normal Acacias and, you know, smoke mortar, whatever. And then in the tank tab, like your tank tab, these are better. This is better, because they're both going to survive a 30 AP missile. Side armor's not important, and you might as well be able to buy 1 a minute, whereas this, you only get 260 points a minute. So yeah, you do something like that. The Sturm is really nice with the Kokons, 2,800 meter range. The Kokon's really nice. BRDM2 Conkers, Recon tab, so that this jammer thing is good. You don't get Reservedka BMP2s. And then, like, Cub, Osa, Igla, something like that. You do get more helicopters than 27Y, and you get 2 AA helos, and you get lots of Kokons and so on. And, like, your air tab has some nice options, although your fighters aren't as good, so you like, this actually isn't bad for 175 points. You've got the Cubs anyway. Oh no, you get the Su-27S, what am I talking about? This is really good. Then, yeah, you get rockets with 3, 80... you don't get SEED on 39Y. You get LGBT if you want it. This thing one-shots heavy tanks, as we spoke about. So yeah, it's a good div. It's just worse than 27Y. It's just a bad 27Y. But it is a good div. So yeah, I've got it... I've actually got it here. Now, between these two, if First UK was to fight 39Y, First UK would lose. Because 39Y has just, like, better stuff. And the BMP2s beat the Warrior Pleats and so on. And the helicopters spam on 39Y is pretty incredibly difficult to fight as First UK. But overall, I think First UK is a better div. And if it's on a really narrow map, like Death Row, First UK is going to lose. And I've lived through it. But I didn't upload that one because it was too humiliating. But if the wider the map gets, the better First UK gets, and the worse 39Y gets. Because 39Y, it's got to build up the Cubs, right? It's got to build up the stuff, and eventually push you out with its stuff. But, like, generally, 27Y is just a better version of it. 56Y. Yeah, I mean, it's as oh, actually, I'm in the way, aren't I? It says 56Y is broken OP because it is. This div is absolutely absurd. It's absurd. There's a reason everybody plays it, but a lot of people on the ladder are playing it wrong. Right, so what you do is you just spam out BMP2Ds. Not only does this is a 40-point squad with 1,025 meters on the rocket launcher, which is just dumb. And then yeah, all you do is just spam out BMP2Ds. You get more BMP2Ds than any other division in the game, more IFVs than any other division in the game. You also get 14-man squads, which come in rocket helos, or you could bring them in a truck if you want, or you could do one of each, whatever you want. Afghansky, really nice squad, comes in this descent thing, really nice. You can bring 4 at max vet if you want. You know, Conkers. This is another really good squad because it's actually I already spoke about that for some reason. You just get 2 cards of it. Metis, right? The grenade launcher, BTR, very nice. Okrana's in the melter, so this thing's really good because rockets deal pure damage to buildings. So you just stack this up against a building and it'll just eviscerate the squad inside because it tends not to miss given the range and everything. And you get 12 per squad. You know, you get 30 millimeters. You get this thing. You get this thing. 14-man squads. So I mentioned 14-man squads. I mentioned most BMP2s in the game. This is an absolutely absurdly broken unit. It's absolutely absurd. This is also really good, but then you lose your smoke, right? So you can bring this instead. Like this is just so stupid. You get regular grads, you get airborne grads. T62s are a really cost-effective unit, and you get free rank of up vet on everything because you're classed as an airborne div, even though you're actually a mechanized div. And yeah, you just get 14 of a really cost-efficient tank at 1 vet. Why not? CV, why not? Why not? So, this is proto-SAS because they've got stingers and their airborne forward deployment. And they've got better RPGs and smoke, but less men. So why not give a division a cluster mortar which didn't exist in real life? Right, this is basically like an attackums. Why not give this airborne division the most BMP2s in the game? A made-up cluster mortar, better tanks than KDA, second UK's best asset, just ported over, even more BMP2s, crazy, 12, plus more, ridiculous division. Every time I see people playing it, I'm getting angry, I'm trying to be calm, I want to be calm. I was playing against this guy, and he was playing 56Y, and I said, your division's absolutely stupid. And he was like, yeah, I hope they nerf it. But he was like, I have to play it. I have to play it. And I usually don't play it, but now I'm playing it. A week later, I saw him again on the ladder, and he was playing 56Y again. So, not only do these people... I'm a calm gentleman. So yeah, it also gets the AA gun spam. ZU-23 is really overpowered, so it can just spam those out as well. Why not? Why not? Let's throw to them. Helos, gets loads of helos as well. Why not? Why wouldn't it be able to get loads of helos? Why not have, you know, the best part of 39Y as well as everybody else's. And then in the air tab, you've got like upgraded versions of those 3 per card fighters, but these are 2 per card. These used to be 3 per card for like no apparent reason. And yeah, so like best AT missile in the game. Why not? LGBT. Why not? Why not? Why not? Why not? Yeah, why not some more AT? And it's just a ridiculous division. I absolutely hate it. It's broken. It's actually so broken, in fact, that it deserves its own tier. It's gonna be grey. And oh, that's messed everything up, hasn't it? Okay, so what happens if I delete this? Do these change back? Wasn't this red before? I don't remember what colour it used to be. Oh yeah, S used to be... So, I've messed up. Oh, now what's happening? Right, so... I'm so angry, I can't even think straight. So this used to be red, right? And then this is the SS tier. That's SS! And yeah, it genuinely does deserve its own tier. So, to recap... Best IFV spam in the game, and they come at 1 vet by default, so you could very, very, very easily up vet it to 2 vet. 1,025 meter range rocket launchers, Metis squads, military police in the BTR Commandatura. Why not? Why not? But yeah, you probably want the regular Commandatura. You know, poor Machiki with BMP 2Ds, 14-man squads, right? 8-man squads with RPOs. This melter thing, all these other wacky fire support units. Yeah, they're not BMP D2s, they're BMP 2s. They're regular 4 armor BMP 2s. And it's the D version as well, so it's got like more side armor. Because why not? And then in the RT tab, a made up thing, which, you know, fires very fast, is basically attackums. And the HE version if you want it. And then, you know, the better tanks than KDA, just KDA's tanks, but better, with 2,800 meter range ATGMs on a 14 armor platform. With 6 availability at 1 vet for 160 points. SAS, why not? Why not? Why not as well give the SAS a grenade launcher vehicle? Why not? Even more BMP2s, you can up vet those as well. Yeah, you know, who's complaining, right? Here you go. Here's 6 more helicopters. Here's 6 more helicopters. Yeah. Crazy AA towed gun spam. This thing's really not bad. Plenty of helicopters, plenty of planes. Like, I haven't built this optimally at all, but it's just stupid div. 76Y is like 56Y, but not as bad. It's like a cross between, well, I mean, it's another airborne div, so of course it's going to be similar to these two. It's even got a different upgraded picture, apparently. So these guys, I had somebody else tell me this wasn't a good div. Oh, it's not as good. Die! Sorry, it's the holy month of Ramadan. I'm a calm gentleman. So these guys rely mainly on spamming the BTRD for the grenade launcher and the smoke for 30 points, so you spam that out. You also get BMD2s, and you get 4 cars of those, because why not? Why not? This is an absolutely cracked squad. 90 points, 21 pen, satchels, 10 strength. Crazy squad. Like, I mean... So they're the same price as regular Spetsnaz, except they've got satchels instead of the RPO, and they've got 21 pen rocket launcher, because just why not? Why not? Why not? I'm just so angry. Viewer retention by the end of the video is not great, so nobody will see me like this, so that's fine. Airborne grads, known as, you know, forward deploy. Oh yeah, I forgot to mention this. This is an 82mm mortar, and it's got more range than any other 82mm mortar. Who knows why, right? So look, so right, and then you compare that to a 120mm mortar. It's got more range than a 120mm mortar, despite being 82mm, and it's exclusive to 56Y, apparently. No, it's not, because it's on 76Y as well. Yeah, it's just that one's the forward deployed version, which has airborne forward deployment for the same price. You don't even have to pay the airborne forward deployed tax. This one is airborne because it's got the thing, and this one isn't, and it's the same price. So yeah, you just get better mortars than everybody else, because you're special, and you deserve it. BMD3s are absolutely cracked, so if it, like, because it's got a grenade launcher, 2 PKTs, and auto cannon conquers them, this is really good. Compare that to the Saggy. Let's do it now. BMD3. This is also a March to War made up unit. Same price. Same price. You'll note that the IFV has 10 HP, whereas the Saggy has 8. It's got more armor. It's got an auto cannon. It's got a Conquer's M. It's got 2 machine guns instead of 1. It's got a grenade launcher. It's got more HP. Cracked div. And, yeah, so you just get loads of those. You also get BRDM2 Conquers, why not? And then you get forward deployed men whose name we can't read out. You know, forward deployed this as well if you want it, but you don't need it. You got everything else. Spetsnaz grew, really good squad, airborne forward deployed. These guys, also Proto-SAS, just more Proto-SAS. So they've got Iglas, and they're 10 men for 120. I mean, it is expensive. Airborne forward deployment, Proto-SAS, why not? That's the grenade launcher one. So you get forward deployed grenade launchers. forward deployed Reservist BMP2s. Really good AA. Really good AA. Like, this comes in an Igla transport, which is crazy. So that's just 2 Iglas. Like, Toad AA, if you want to spam that out as well. And then you don't have helicopters, which is a downside. Then you get the MiG-31, so you get 4 of them, so you can ruin team games as well. And this one has 2 sets of 8 HE missiles, so you can make sure you win every fight, and this one can kill helicopters, so you can do that as well. This seed is like the best seed in the game, 60% ECM. You get the best LGBT in the game because it's got 3 missiles and it drops them one at once, and they're literally like 1500 kilo payload. So it just one-shots anything in the game, and you get 3 off in a single bombing run on different targets. You also get the best AT missiles in the game. Like, between these two, this one's better. And you get a blanket bomber, and you just, yeah, why not? Absolutely cracked div. So yes, I'd say it's S tier. 79Y. So 79Y is like a slightly better version of 39Y. My voice is absolutely killing me, dude. In an hour, I'll be able to drink water. I have some right next to me, which is probably not smart. I'm fasting for Ramadan. I don't know if I mentioned that 10 times in this video already. So, you get Commanditura, which is very useful. You get BMP-2Ds, you know, the same 156Y gets. So it's a straight upgrade. You lose amphibious capability, which nobody cares about. And you gain more armor. Except you come at less availability than the ones in 56Y. But you also get the regular BMP-2s. So you get more BMP-2s than 39Y. Right? And you get like sappers and stuff if you need them. You know, a 30mm grenade launcher. In the arty tab, it's just standard Acacias and smoke mortars and, you know, something like that. And then in the tank tab, so you get, so this has, so you bring this at 2 vet, or you bring it at, you know, 3 at 1 vet. But either way, you get loads of this tank. And, you know, so you're basically getting a free rank, well, I say free, you have to pay for it. It's faster, it's got a better ATGM on it, which is not inconsequential. And obviously everything's at higher accuracy because you get the same amount of 1 more veterancy. And also your tank slots are way better than 39Y. So it's just good. It's better 39Y. That's really all there is to it. Recon tab, you get airborne forward deployment, which 39Y doesn't get. They only get recon forward deployment, so you get airborne forward deployment there. And then you get, you know, let's say you were running out of infantry. Well, there you go. There's you also get Razvedka BMP2s, which 39Y doesn't get, but 27Y does and 25Y does. So you get more BMP2s. You get this for your tanks. AA is just your standard Cub, Strela, Igla. I mean, you can bring the Tunguska if you really want, or the Osa, whatever. But Cub, Igla is definitely got to be there. Then you get less helicopters than 39Y. And then in the air tab, you get this, which is a absolutely crazy MiG-29. Right, so basically, this missile has less range, but it's fire and forget, which means that it can have 2 in the air at once. So this will fire both long-range missiles before the merger. So when the 2 planes come together, they go straight at each other. This obviously kills the enemy 100% of the time. But let's say it gets past it somehow, right? The enemy will always be routed because you've just got a minimum of 3 missiles off on him before the merger, and he'll have only got 2 off on you. So unless it's a MiG-31 outranging you from 10 million miles away, you will always rout the enemy before the merger with this. So it's absolutely crazy, and for some reason it's only 215. You get a seed plane unlike 39Y. This thing's crazy. It's like a blanket cluster bomber with 8 bombs. So for some reason the F-11Fs have terrible payloads and the Su-24Ms get good payloads, and then their ECM gets buffed by 10% for some reason. Made in France. Made in Vladivostok, more like. And yeah, you get rocket planes. So it's just it's a good div, right? It's not as good as 27Y, but it's a lot better than 39Y. So I've got it here. I think it's not as good as 9th East German, but I think it is better than Polish East German ripoff. And then Then we've got 119Y. There's a guy on the ladder who literally only plays this division, and he's currently rank 4. He used to be rank 2, but then I beat him, and he fell to rank 4. 119Y is not a terrible div. It's not great. You've basically, so it's got some more imaginary tanks that come from the future, but basically you get Spetsnaz in your armored div, and that gives you a very powerful forward deployment, and then you hunker down for ages and just try and, because you don't get that much infantry, right? So you get the Spetsnaz out. I mean, I wouldn't even be bringing this. And then, yeah, you're very strapped for infantry. But you get the Burrito, which is really only good in team games. It's got 3,000 supply costs. It's pretty stupid. This is really good. So you can like upvet that. You struggle to smoke things unless you use these. And you don't have a armored carrier for it, an armored transport for it. But basically, you just spam out these TAEUs, which are really good, and you get loads of them. So it's like it's the packed equivalent of 3rd Armoured US. And yeah, you get these BRDM2s out. For mediums, to be honest, I bought too many of these. This is your medium. So, well, okay, this is your medium, is your CV tank. So you actually get 4 of those. And then you bring these, and you use these to pad out things. And honestly, you don't need that many of these, alright? You don't need that many of them. So, like, between the 2 of them, like, you don't need that extra armor, really. The speed, yeah, so you just get rid of that. And so that's how you do it. And so you use these to just like pad the line out, the TO-55, the Conkers, the T-80BVK, use those to pad the line out while you start buying these. And you've got more airborne forward deployed, Spetsnaz grew really nice, recon helo thing, recon deployed, oh wow, that's scary looking, Mickey Mouse looking, wow, goofy looking, blimey, that's terrifying. And then, yeah, you obviously bring all the recon infantry because you need, like, because you don't actually have as little recon as people, as little infantry as people seem to think. Because actually, here's another 3 cards of recon, 3 cards of infantry. Sorry, I've been doing this too long. So you got 5, 6, 7, 8 cards of infantry. So you don't actually have that little infantry, and you get the BRDM2s. And then, yeah, Tunguskas to cover your tanks and stuff, and then Iglas, or maybe like Tunguska Strela Igla. Then helicopters, you get lots of nice helicopters. And then the air tab, right? So we already spoke about how this is a ridiculously cost-efficient fighter which beats all the NATO ones, which are similar priced or more expensive. We already spoke about how this is the best fighter in the game, except I guess the one on 79Y, the same one on 79Y, which is cheaper and better. So yeah, you just get loads of fighters. You don't even need 8, and then you get like a seed. And then you get this LGBT, which is a Cab 1500, and it drops 1 at a time. Obviously, I'd have to delete some of it, but yeah. So the div is really not bad. I mean, but you struggle in that you've got to, if you lose units, you basically lose a game. Do you know what I mean? So if somebody starts sniping your tanks, like it puts you really far behind, and so if you're on a narrow map like Death Row or something, you're gonna win. It's like the best Death Row map div in the game. Second best, actually. I suppose 3rd Armoured would be better. But on a wide map, like the New Chemical in Ranked, quite a big map, this div really does suffer quite a bit. And you've got to be really good at the game. So the guy who plays it, he literally just plays this div. He's got like 500-600 games just on this div, and you know, he reached rank 1 with it, right? So it's not terrible, but it's being offset by the fact that it's literally the only thing he plays, and so it really is kind of not a great div. So I've got it there. Last but not least, we've got me. I'm really angry and my throat hurts, so I'm D tier. So I hope you enjoyed that tier list. Hopefully a new patch doesn't come out and just invalidate it all. And if you made it to the end of the video, thank you. I wish you a lovely day. Please like the video if you haven't already. I mean, you made it this far, right? And yeah, I'd like to thank the generous channel joiners making all this possible, you know. I'm unemployed, I'm doing a full-time PhD. It's very difficult. My funding ran out. It's my fault. I should have played less Warno. So if you want me to play more Warno, is that a good way of spinning it? You can join as a generous channel joiner, and get this video and others like it early, and exclusive videos at a rate of one a week. And you'll also get exclusive access to my video game, which I intend to make once I finish the PhD. So I hope you have a lovely day. Hopefully this video didn't drag on too long, and I'll see you around.